The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association presents Ohio County Fair Racing. Ohio County Fair Racing is presented by the Ohio Veterinary Medical Center, Big D Tack and Vet Supply, Dublin Valley Farms, Stable.ca, and Midland Acres. Now let's go trackside for all the action.
For the first, bring them right on out, please.
Welcome. Ooh, that is loud. Welcome to the Pike County Fair in Piketon, Ohio. We are kicking off a beautiful weekend of racing here. This is day 1 of 2. We have a mix of fillies, colts, trotters, pacers. You are joining myself, Ashley Daly, and for the first time we are working together.
We are, after 3 years.
After some time, that is for sure. I have Jeremy Moore beside me, and so this is my first time at Piketon, so this is a whole new experience for me, but you're familiar.
Oh yes, very. Grew up, Dad raced down here in the circuit. It was the River Valley and the Southeastern Circuit. There's 2 different at the time. Of course, then they combined for the Southern Valley Circuit, but yep, down here in the Leaky Roof, Hillbilly Circuit, whatever you want to call it.
So you grew up here, so you started kind of going into it briefly, because we used to have a lot more than just the 4 county fair circuits.
Yes. Yep. River Valley, Southern or Southeastern. Some of the other fairs that are no longer with us are Caddis, Proctorville, the city of Logan, down I think around Hocking County. Trying to think. Of course, that was.
I say, do you remember?
That was 40 years ago.
What?
So.
I didn't know, because I've always grown up with really the four circuits, so I didn't know what year we kind of changed. Because I know, like OCRA, where I grew up in Urbana, the Champaign County Fair, I believe it used to be like Western something.
Yeah, Western Circuit was kind of like the northwestern portion of the state, and the southwestern portion was the OCRA. And then I know a handful or so of years ago, when they combined there, and there 19 fairs in that now. We'll listen to Dean here in a little bit when he advertises it.
Yeah, but regardless, so we actually are at the Southern Valley Colt Circuit today. So that is what is going on at Pike. We have 11 on tap. It says Doug Ballinger is our announcer. He did call our first race out. No one has made it quite to the track. But it will be our first division for 2-year-old filly pacers, a purse of $4,479.
A lot of 2-year-old pacing fillies this year.
Yeah, I was about to say, the Southern Valley used to be the circuit that their purses went for so much more because they didn't split. And I feel like quite a few trainers, owners have caught on to that recently, and we really have seen an expansion of the Southern Valley and who is staked into it.
Yeah, except for 2-year-old trotting colts.
That's a common theme. I think about, was it last night? Last night, the OSS, they did have 3 divisions, but if you go to 3-year-olds, there's only 1.
Right.
I say the trotters are not near as expansive as pacers.
Yeah, and down here there was only 18 that was staked all across the board, 2-year-old trotting colts. And over at Wellston, we had 1 division with 6, and tomorrow we got 1 division with 5. So,
I didn't even realize.
Yeah. So we're going to look at the first race here. Doug's trying to get them out for us. We got a field of 6. And I believe we start 5 wide here, so the 6 is going to start from the second tier. Number 1, Camilla's On Fire. Ronnie Gillespie is going to be in the bike and trains to catch the fire filly. She's owned by Jamie Binge, Liberty Township in Ohio, out of the American Ideal Mare Qualified Blue Chip. She's had 2 starts this year, a win, a 3rd. She won over at Ottawa in 2-4-1. Come back to Wellston, 2-6-1 for Alex Hawk being in the bike. She's made a little over $2,000 this year.
Coming from our second post position, we have Cruise to Barcelona. David Young, the second, will be in the bike for trainer Steve Carter. This is a 2-year-old filly by Yankee Cruiser out of a Hanover, or Western Hanover mare, Barcelona Hanover. Still looking for the first lifetime win, but has only had 4 lifetime starts. 2 back at Wellston, did have a second place finish in 2:10 flat and has made about $2,200 so far.
The 3, Fearless Lizzie, Chucky Bolin in the bike. The other day, Mike kept calling him Charlie. And Chucky's in the barn next to me, and I give Chucky a hard time. And I said I won't give him a hard time tonight, even though he's got 2 or 3 drives. So, but Chucky Bolin's on Fearless Lizzie for trainer Larry Six, who co-owns with his daughter, Melissa Sword, Washington Courthouse. Fear the Dragon filly out of the Western Ideal mare, Elizabeth Spencer. She's also looking for her first win out of 4 starts. She's had a second and a third. She's coming off the Fayette County Classic there at Washington Courthouse with a 4th place finish and 2, 3, and 1.
And the 4, Alex Hawk, will drive Miss Barcelo. Kevin Johnson trains the 2-year-old by Mr. Apples. Only 2 lifetime starts, but coming right off of a win from Washington Courthouse, went wire to wire in 2:03 flat last quarter in 29-3. Not a bad mile by any means, especially at that last quarter at Washington Courthouse. Alex Hawk did drive, so this is going to be a pretty familiar mount for him.
The 5, Jurassic T. Brady Clemens in the bike for trainer Eric Nesselrode. Jerry and Aaliyah Welch out of Waterford, Ohio, owns the Fear the Dragon filly. She's out of the mare, Liz Marie mare, Always Sunday. She's only had 1 start, finished second over at Wellston with Brady in the bike, 2, 5, and 3.
And our 6, again, is our trailer. We will start from a second tier. VH Dancer, Derek Waterker, will drive for Tim Van Horn. This is a black filly by Dancin' Yankee. Already has 6 starts on the year, 3 of those wins. So has already bankrolled over $10,000 around the fairs. And, well, if you look a little bit deeper, yeah. So six starts and has hit the board all 6 times. So not a bad filly. Has a qualifying time of 2 minutes and 3/5 at Northfield. Is looking to go 4 in a row. Last start out had a win, actually, at Mount Vernon in 2:02 and 4. Derek Waterker, another one that it will be pretty familiar behind this filly.
Yeah, not a bad group of fillies here. You got some 59 pacers, 2-3, 2-1 around the county fairs. So it should be interesting. Derek, like I said, he's got the second tier. We're going to see what he does. Lets the dust settle and come with her or race her on the end of it.
And we are still waiting for, it looks like there are 3 out, so half of our field is out. Our track, this is a nice little track. This is a nice track. I'm sure you can kind of see it on our camera view. It's a little wet, a little damp. I don't really want to call it wet. There's nothing laying down by the rail, but it is a little damp. I think they were watering a couple of hours ago, and it tended to run down and sit there. But other than that, I mean, they've put all effort. I've seen trucks and tractors for the last hour and a half out here trying to get it fast for us tonight.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people talk about the tracks down here in the River Valley, or I still call it
we
River
know
Valley.
what you mean. Southern
here in the
Valley.
circuit down here, they're not any worse than any of the other ones. I mean, you know, the fair board, the horsemen, they get the track ready.
No, I agree. I feel like we don't hear near enough about Southern Valley, and maybe it's because of places like, you know, the OCRA, the OFRC. Those just are the biggest circuits, but just because they're the biggest doesn't mean they're necessarily the best.
Right.
I mean, all of these horsemen, doesn't matter where you're at in Ohio, they care, and they care about their horses, and therefore they're going to take care of their tracks too.
Oh, absolutely. And then because there's not very many horses down in this area, you know, a lot of the fairs nobody wants to travel to because it is a long trip for some people. So let's flip it up to Doug for the post parade, and we'll continue looking at the first.
Horses are on the track for the first race. First Division Southern Valley Colt Circuit. for 2-year-old filly pacers. Total purse $13,437. This division for $4,479. Sponsored by Brewster's Real Estate and Auction. And these are the horses. Number 1, Camilla's on Fire. The driver, Ronnie Gillespie. Number 2, Cruz de Barcelona. David Young, the second, drives. Charles Bolin driving a 3, Fearless Lizzie. Number 4, Miss Barcelo with driver Alex Hawk. 5, Jurassic T, Brady Clemens drives. And number 6 is VH Dancer, Derek Wadiker in her sulky. Win Play Show, daily double wagering on the first, along with Exacta and Quinella. Second race, second half, the double. Number 2, Cruz de Barcelona. First time Lasix for the 2. Cruz de Barcelona in the second. The first race, the 2, Cruz de Barcelona, first time Lasix. Second race, David Young the second will drive the 4. David Young the second, the 4, LT by a nose. Scratch number 5, JB Flex. You have 3 minutes to post time. 3 minutes.
All right, so there was our field of 6, the first race here at Piketon, the first division for 2-year-old filly pacers.
And then I just saw Mark Reinhardt said there used to be 8 circuits
8
in Ohio. Mark, if you can rattle them off for us, I'd appreciate
we would,
it.
I say just for our knowledge, and I'm sure there are plenty that are listening that are curious too.
Yep. We've been on air about 5 minutes and got 61 viewers, and we're competing against Summit County Fair Stakes up there too.
Talk about a huge race card for Summit County. That is held at Northfield Park, has been for years. I couldn't even tell you how long, but
As I can remember.
Yeah, has been held at MGM Northfield Park. They have 20. That is quite a large card, especially for fair races. And it is Matt and Jay Wolf up there tonight. And so Matt, normally behind the camera, because it's held at Northfield, he has help with the camera tonight, so I believe he should be on the mic a little bit.
That works. And I think he's a lot like Frank too. If Frank's on the camera, he's got a headset on.
Yeah.
I just tell Frank he likes to hear himself talk.
Spend some time with Frank in the office. That'll, you might believe that even more. No.
So you're saying your stories will be more interesting than mine?
But it's Mike today, right? Our starter, Mike Webkenberg.
I didn't look.
It should be. He's right behind a camper, so it's where our view where we are at is slightly obstructed. But our starter is the only one and only Mike Webkenberg, and they are going to move into position. A field of 6. Then that 6 will start from a second tier. We'll see how VH Dancer handles that, just because she's been Mount Vernon, I believe, scored 6 wide, so has not started from the second tier.
Yep.
And here we go. We will throw it up to Doug.
$479, sponsored by Brewster's Real Estate and Auction. All in behind the Webkenberg starting gate. Here they come. Big rough end pacing for the lead. Camilla's on fire. Cruz de Barcelona on the outside is second. Field of Pacers moving to the turn and head on over to the opening 8. Coming out in third as they race around the turn. Going to the backside, that is Fearless Lizzie. Up on the outside, Miss Barcelona. VH Dancer the inside. Jurassic T trails the field. Down the backside they go. Camilla's on fire. Ronnie Gillespie show the way by a length. Hung on the outside. Miss Barcelo will back off and take a seat third. Cruz de Barcelona is second. By the opening quarter in 29 seconds. Around the turn they go. Racing next, VH Dancer. Jurassic T at the 3/8 mark, into the lane first time. Camilla's on fire. 2-year-old Bay Philip catch the fire, fronts the field. Right there, second. Cruz de Barcelona is second, getting the 2-hole trip. Racing third, Miss Barcelo. Racing fourth, Fearless Lizzie. VH Dancer is fifth, and Jurassic T trails the field. Past the half, 59 seconds into the turn. Camilla's on fire. Ronnie Gillespie's got every call. Will guide him on to the backside. Right there, second. Cruise to Barcelona. Up on the outside, Fearless Lizzie is third. Racing fourth, VH Dancer. Taking a shuffle, Miss Barcelona now fifth. Jurassic T trails the field. Down the backside they go. Camilla's on fire by 2. Coming 3 wide, Derek Whitaker. VH Dancer was fourth, now third, now second on the outside. Camilla's on fire. 3/4, 130 and 3/5. VH Dancer up on the outside. Racing second, Camilla's on fire. Miss Barcelo is third. Cruise to Barcelona fourth. They're off the turn. They're on their way home. VH Dancer drawing away with every stride. VH Dancer. Miss Barcela, late closer on the outside, up for second. Camilla's on fire, home third. The mile, 2 minutes, 3/5.
VH Dancer, I say, makes it 4 in a row in Ohio, trained by Tim Van Horn, Derek Whitaker. What a big move on the backside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he waited because they got a little hairy in the first turn. Everybody looking for a seat, and so Derek just grabbed what we used to say leather. It's beta now. Just let everybody settle, and Chucky come first up. Why, I don't know. But he gave Derek the cover, tipped 3 wide when Fearless Lizzie called it a day and went right on.
I say, and sorry about that. We had a small fat finger moment. We are, but here we have Derek coming back around with the 6. And saying this filly, after I took another a look at her lines, so she has started from the second tier back at Wellston, so was not her first go around, and she still handled it like a champ.
Mm-hmm.
Officially 6-4-1. 6-4-1. Your top 3 finishes in the bucket.
Did Doug just say, did he say unofficially 6-4, or did he say, okay. That's how I had it across the line.
It was tight for 4th and 5th between Cruise to Barcelona and Jurassic T.
So I thought Doug was going to give us a little bit of a rundown for our 6 horse, but if not, so she, there she goes.
First Division Southern Valley Colt Circuit for 2-year-old filly Pacers for $4,479. Number 6, VH Dancer. She's a 2-year-old black filly by Dancing Yankee out of the Cam's Card Shark mare, Southwind Sugar. She's owned by Tim Van Horn of Malta, Ohio. Tim Van Horn trains. Derek Whitaker drives the winner. The mile, 2 minutes, 3/5 equals her lifetime best. It is 4 in a row for VH Dance by Brewster's Real Estate and Auction. VH Dancer returns $760, $1380, $28 to show. Exacta $1380, Quinella $2620. Here's the way they finished the first. Number 1, Camilla's on fire. 3, 2, Cruise to Barcelona. 4. The 3, Fearless Lizzie, 6. The 4, Miss Barcela, 2. Number 3/5, 29, 59 and 2, 130 and 3/5, 3, 4, 6, 2, 5, 1 on the bottom. Second race coming up in about 12 minutes. The 4, LT by a nose. The driver, David Young the second. David Young the second to drive the 4, LT by a nose. Scratch the 5, JB Flex. Scratch the 5, JB Flex.
So there we go. VH Dancer makes it 4 in a row with Derek Whitaker behind her lines. We went 6-4-1. Honestly, paid $760 to
That's
win.
what I'm looking at. $2 across the board. You got back $48 on somebody that should have been at least even money favorite.
Right. I know. which it's nice that we do have wagering here because it has my last couple of fairs we haven't. But regardless, VH Dancer gets it done for our first division for 2-year-old filly Pacers. We are going to move on now to race 2, and we will introduce the field scratched down to a field of 6 after a brief message.
The first Shelby County Fair was held in October of 1840 in Sydney, Ohio. The area was already known for its flourishing agriculture. Wheat, oats, corn, and hay were the main crops, and farmers raised all varieties of livestock and poultry. The early fairs exhibited grain, vegetables, eggs, and fruit to serve as a celebration of the completed harvest. Displays of livestock and mechanics would soon join the exhibits located at the town square. Within a decade, the Shelby County Fair had grown. The permanent fairgrounds was purchased and improvements were underway. With harness racing being the most popular attraction, horse barns and a racetrack were the first things constructed. A standardbred by the name of Joe Gallus was a celebrity in Shelby County during the 1860s. Seen as unfit to serve his country, the horse was rejected by the U.S. Army to fight in the Civil War. His owner decided to give racing a try after the horse paced a mile in under 3 minutes. Joe Gallus won every race at the Shelby County Fair and went on to make marks around the country. Today, the Shelby County Fair hosts 2 days of live-action racing as a member of the Ohio Colt Racing Association.
They're often racing in the Southern Valley Colt Circuit. Catch the excitement of Ohio harness racing at one of the county fairs in the Southern Valley Colt Circuit. For over 150 years, people have gathered at county fairs to cheer on their favorite racehorses. Keep the tradition alive. Visit one of the 10 fairs in the Southern Valley Colt Circuit this summer. Horses, racing, and winning. It's the Southern Valley Colt Circuit. 10 great fairs in southeastern Ohio. When you need supplies for your horse, one name stands out: Big D's. Since 1976, Big D's Tack and Vet Supply has been the equine experts you can trust. Needs is available at Big D's Tack and Vet Supply. Visit the retail outlet in Streetsboro, Ohio, or order online at bigdweb.com for fast shipping. Most orders ship that day. Or call 1-800-321-2142. Big D's Tack and Vet Supply.
All right, we are back. Ashley Daly and Jeremy Moore here for day 1 of the Pike County Fair.
11 races on tap for today, and we've had a few people come up to get their stickers for their passports. So don't forget, if you're at the fairs, you go to 1, 2, handful, or like my wife's Lebanon guys, as she calls them.
Thank you.
They go to like 8 or 9 fairs just to wager and stuff. Bring your passport up to where you see the camera here at OHHA. We'll get you a sticker, and at the end of the year, send it in and be eligible for some prizes.
I will say, so far today, this has actually been the most active passport fair I have been to.
Good deal.
We do have a nice crowd. This is a nice little grandstand, too. I believe, I can't remember who told me earlier, this is only the second year this grandstand has been up, so it's pretty new.
Yep. I think it used to be a concrete grandstand.
Okay.
So, of course, it's been, Tori's Chip was a 2-year-old when I last came here, so it's been about 10 to 12 years since I've been here last.
And what's also, I like a couple of things. I like how you base your years off of the age of a horse at a time, because I know exactly what you mean. But right behind us is train tracks. I mean, directly behind us. And so if there's ever a point where it gets really loud in our mic, you have no idea what this a loud, annoying horn is, it's a train. So apologies, we may not be able to speak over it because it is directly beside the racetrack.
Yep. And it will go through.
I think I've been here since 3 o'clock or so, and there's it's pretty timely. They definitely use it.
Oh, yeah. So we got the second race coming up. 2-year-old trot in fillies, first division. Scratched down to a field of 6. Purse of $6,080. Sponsored by Woolrich and Sons Farms. She'll let us know who the one horse is. Ashley?
Sure thing. So Brittany Clemens drives the 1 Jailhouse Pearl for Eric Nesselroll. This is won by Long Tom, coming off of a win at Marysville, so it's not too far ago. Last quarter in 29-4, tends to be pretty consistent in closing. And when that win mile did go in 2:06-4, 3 lifetime starts. Of course, that last win was her first win, and 2 second-place finishes. Has made over $8,000 in just those 3 starts.
And the 2 is going to be Risky Hill. Drew Neal in the bike for trainer Rosie Weaver. The What the Hill fillies owned by Bayless. And forgive me if I pronounce its name wrong. Massasack, Benner, and Howells. Ashley's over here laughing at me.
No, because I'm the same way. If you guys, I say, if you're all laughing at us online, we completely get it. But sometimes, one, the print is so small, and you don't want to be rude and say a name wrong, so it makes you feel even worse.
Oh, absolutely. And he's probably watching.
Yeah,
JJ
apologies.
laughing at us. Yep.
But it does look like we are going to head into a post parade, so we will throw it up to Doug, and we will let Jeremy reintroduce you to that 2 horse after Doug.
Horses are on the track for the second race. First division of the 2-year-old filly trot, Southern Valley Colt Circuit. This division for $6,080. These are the horses. Number 1, Jailhouse Pearl, Brady Clemens drives. Drew Neal, the 2, Risky Hill. Number 3, Hilltopper for Don, the driver Ronnie Gillespie. David Young, the 2nd, driving a 4, LT by a nose. 5 is Scratch. Number 6, Queen Catherine W with Alex Hawk. And number 7, What a Return, Sandy Beatty in the sulky. This first division of the 2-year-old filly trot is sponsored by Woolridge and Sons Farm. Scratch the 5 at GB Flex. Win place show, Exacta and Quinella. On the 2nd, you have 4 minutes to post time. 4 minutes, wager now, don't be shut out.
All right, back to the 2 Risky Hill. Rosie's one of those ones that's starting to invade the circuit down here from up north. Risky Hill's got 5 starts, 2 seconds, a little over $3,400 this year, coming off 2 second-place finishes at Mount Vernon and Oak Harbor.
The 3 Hilltopper for Don, Ron Gillespie trains and drive. This is one that most recently had a start in the Buckeye Stallion Series. Did have some tough luck, made a couple of miscues, so was out of the money. But before that, has been making its rounds at the county fairs, really. So 2 starts back at Wilmington, had a 2nd place finish in 2:04-3, and well, first start back all the way back in Circleville on June 16th, did have a win in 2:09 there.
The 4 LT by a nose, David Young's going to drive for trainer Steve Carter, who co-owns the Long Tom filly with Jay Mossbarger out of the Valley Victor Mayor Smith Hall. She's got 5 starts this year, a win, a 3rd, $5,100 in the bank. Took a qualifying mark, 2-3 at Scioto, and her only win come over at Wilmington. And it looks like she tried a couple legs of the Buckeye Stallion Series, got a couple checks, had the 9-hole last start, got roughed up pretty good, so still trotting in 2 minutes.
I'd say this 4 horse is not currently the better betting favorite, but nothing to shy away though with her starts at Scioto. I mean, her last start from the 9th post position and still got up to get a check with Austin Handers in the bike. So moving on though, our 5 is a Scratch, and 6, Alex Hawk will drive Queen Catherine W for Earl Owens. This is a filly by Long Tom and still just figuring it out. Does have 2 starts already on the year. Has not hit the board, probably looking to stay flat this afternoon.
And 7 out of the second tier also. What a return for Sandy Beatty. Trains for Wallace Johnson Horseplay Racing. What the Hill Phillies had 2 starts with a second place finish over at Washington Courthouse last week. So Beatty down here. Him and Dad are best friends. Kind of grew up together a little bit, so I get to give him a hard time too.
Sandy had a nice drive at Scioto Downs last night, and it's blanking me the name of the horse. But regardless, here we go for race 2, scratch down to a field of 5 or 6.
The gate. Here they come. Up and trotting, LT by a nose goes right out to the front. Jailhouse Pearl comes out in second. Risky Hill third. What a return, the outside fourth. Queen Catherine W fifth into the turn. Racing sixth and trailing the field. Hilltopper for Don as he trot on over to the opening 8. The leader, Jailhouse Pearl. Brady Clemens will guide him up the backside. Risky Hill will get the 2-hole trip. LT by a nose is off stride third. Queen Catherine W fourth. Hilltopper for Don fifth and trailing the field up the backside of the opening quarter. What a return. On top, a new leader, Risky Hill. Drew Neal between calls have grabbed the lead. Jailhouse Pearl second by the quarter, 32 4/5. Racing next, Queen Catherine W on the outside. Hilltopper for Don off stride. As he race on over to the 3/8 mark. A return is off stride. LT by a nose moves up the inside. Now fifth. Passing the stands first time they come to the half. Drew Neal, Risky Hill to Europe Bay. Philip Want the Hill fronts the field. Here comes Queen Catherine W up on the outside. Now second. Jailhouse Pearl third. LT by a nose fourth. Hilltopper for Don fifth. And What a Return can see them all. Halfway home. 105 4/5. On to the 5/8 they trot. Risky Hill, the one to catch, leads him at 3 parts of a length. Queen Catherine W is on the leader's wheels second. Jailhouse Pearl third. LT by a nose fourth. Hilltopper for Don fifth. Trailing sixth. What a Return. Down the backside they go to the 3/4. It's Risky Hill fronting that field. Queen Catherine W on the outside. Jailhouse Pearl third. Queen Catherine W jumps it off. 3/4. 136 4. They round the far turn. The leader, Risky Hill, has them by 2. Right there second is Jailhouse Pearl. They have an 1/8 of a mile to trot. Racing third, Queen Catherine W. Down the stretch they trot. Risky Hill on the outside with every stride. Jailhouse Pearl. Jailhouse Pearl on the line over Risky Hill. The mile 2:06 1/5.
Jailhouse Pearl.
Interesting little horse race. Cut it out. Then Drew Neal got behind him down the backside, and Philly dug in and trotted right back on by her.
So we did have quite a few miscues in that field, which just happens with, I mean, it doesn't matter even if you're an aged horse, but of course we tend to see it a little bit more.
Yes.
With trotters and young filly trotters.
Yep. So that was a nasty break Ronnie made behind the gate right here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that or not.
And I will say, this track, I mean, by the time that Mike gets out of the way, you're in the turn. It is tough. You're going right into a turn and still trying to leave and find your position.
Yeah, because, he doesn't have a whole lot of room, and the track's not wide either.
No.
I mean, 5 wide is pushing it.
No, and there is no apron. And to say, like, I'm not sure if I'm sure we can see it on camera, but we are right on the track. There is no room for mistakes.
No. Whoever's in the 5-hole can probably reach your arm out with the whip and just scrape along the wall there, the grandstand.
I didn't get to the half. Did you get our time to the half?
Yeah, 105 4.
105 4.
So back half in a minute. Minute and 2. So nice little mile for these trotting fillies. This makes Jailhouse Pearl her second win. Of course,
Tom, are you able to put Doug's announcer? Yep, thank you.
Eric Nestle Road trains. Brittany Clemens drives the winner, Jailhouse Pearl, home in 2:06 and a fifth. Lifetime mark for the winner, Jailhouse Pearl, her second career win. This race sponsored by Woolridge and Sons Farm.
All right.
All right, so yeah, still waiting for that official.
$11.80 to win. So $2 across the board to get you back about $16. So decent little payouts here.
I say
today.
these to get us kicked out, it's not a bad place to be if you want to make a couple bucks and pay for your hamburger or your French fries here later.
Those 2 in a row for Jailhouse Pearl. So Eric Nestle Road, one of the regulars here in the Southern Valley Circuit. Him and Earl Owings, old buckskin, worked for Crown Time Farms for years. Send it up to Doug.
$2.20. 1-2 exacta, $27.80. Quinella, $5.80. Early double, 6 and 1 combination. Returns, $9.40. Here's complete order finish. Second race. Number 1, Jailhouse Pearl, the winner. 2, Risky Hill. 2, the 3, Hilltopper for Don. 4, the 4, LT by a nose. 6. Number 5 was scratched. Number 6, Queen Catherine W. 3. And number 7, Watery Turn 5. The mile, 2:06 1/5. Lifetime mark for the winner, Jailhouse Pearl. The quarter, 32 and 4. The half, 105 and 4. 3/4, 136 and 4. 1, 2, 4, 6, scratch 3, 5 on the bottom. Third race coming up next. It's up in about 12 minutes. Field is 6. There are no changes. You'll have Win Play Show, Exacta Quinella, and Trifecta Wagering on the third. Trifecta on the third race. Barn area. Hard for one guy. Big Risk Sunny. Hunkalicious. Splash Dragon. Impactful Stretch. Buckeye State. We need 6. Bring them on.
All right, Jeremy, I guess we spoke right in the nick of time because we have a train rolling right behind us right now. But there we go. So our 1, Jailhouse Pearl, makes it 2 in a row. Mile 2:06 and 1, which is a new lifetime mark for the 2-year-old filly by Long Tom.
Yep. I think she's got this trotting thing down pat, and she should make quite a few dollars for this year, especially down in this circuit.
So there was our first division for 2-year-old filly trotters. Next, we will roll into the first division for 3-year-old colt pacers. So we're going to be changing it up a little bit and have some boys take the stage. We have a field of 6 that we will introduce in just a moment.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine, and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661. Volstead, Coach K. Hanover, Slay. Ohio's top trotters stand at Dublin Valley Farms. Volstead's offspring include Sugar Instead, the 2023 Ohio 2-year-old Trotting Filly of the Year, and 2024 Ohio Sire Stakes winner Jurassic Hattie. Coach K. Hanover, the son of world record holder Walner. And Slay, the son of Chapter 7, standing his first season at Dublin Valley Farms.
With more than 300,000 horses in Ohio, the economic impact of the equine industry in the state is over $2.8 billion. Much of that value comes from standardbred horse owners, breeders, trainers, and drivers who participate in the sport of harness racing. The mission of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association is to preserve, protect, promote, and serve the entire standardbred industry in Ohio and beyond. To learn more about the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association, go to ohha.com. That's ohha.com.
All right, Jeremy, we're going to head into race 3 of 11, and as we are waiting for the field of 6 to come out, I have a trainer question for you.
For me? Okay.
So see, this is probably, I don't mean to sound, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to use the word dumb, but
Lack
some
of
people,
knowledge.
yeah, there we go. There's a word I'm looking for, and it's eluding me. Some people like to warm up in race bikes, and some people like to warm up in jog carts. What do you do, and is there a reason? Does a horse give you a reason for one or the other?
As far as the horse goes, no. I like jog carts because there's a lot more comfortable. Now, back 30 years ago, yeah, I'd have jumped in a race bike. But some people, they can't bring a race bike and a jog cart. So they're stuck with warming up in the race bike. But for the most part, yeah, it's comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit further back from the horse, and yeah, much more relaxed. So that's a good point. But I mean, I think about Scioto down, or parimutuels in general. If no one has really been to the backside of a parimutuel or what it's like, especially in our southern circuits, because we don't have year-round training anymore. A lot of people for that season, very early on, will haul in a jog cart, lock it up, and keep it there for the entire racing season, and then they'll move the jog cart next to the next track, and then to the next track. And race bikes kind of the same way, just depends. I mean, your catch drivers and who keeps their things there.
A handful of bikes, and so yeah, but yeah, it's a racetrack. Raceways, you don't see very many race bikes being warmed up. And
No, not very many whatsoever.
Mike Lowe does, and I give him a hard time because he won't ask anybody. When I had his horse, Father Time, there, when he came down to driving, I'd go get a jog cart. He said, "You got one here?" I was like, "I got access to plenty."
Yeah. And after that first race, I'm sure many picked it up. We did have quite a bit of dust going in, especially going into that first turn. With our water truck is back on the track.
Kind of interesting. I don't know if you can zoom in on that water truck. It's spraying from the front. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen one of those. But it works. It's getting the water down.
It gets the job done.
Absolutely. It looks like it's putting plenty of water down, too.
I know. That's the way that this track is sitting tonight is pretty interesting because the water is wanting to run straight down to kind of that rail post position where our horses are racing, and here we have our tractor going by. So they're putting in a lot of work. Yeah. They're definitely putting in a lot of work to make this track as fast as possible. And with that, we have not talked about the current track records here.
I haven't looked at them.
Yep. So our current all-age pace was set by Peculiar Rock. Earl Owens trained. Alex Hawk had that drive back in 2021. That time was 1:55.3.
That's getting it around this track.
Yeah, to say the least.
And then the all-age trot, Insomniac. Trainer Brady Galliers, so Alex Hawk owns both the pacing and trotting record. Set back in 2019, 59-4.
We think we'll get a show. We think we'll get close to that today, as we maybe hit our 3-year-olds and go a little bit deeper in our program, I guess. So for pace, we are aiming for 55-3, and for our trot record, we are aiming for 159-4. So just things to keep in mind as we go a little bit deeper. We now are going to head into our third of 11. This is the first division for 3-year-old colt pacers. Purse of $4,164.
The one is Hard for One Guy. Alex Hawks in the bike for Jeff Kirkbride. David Nolan owns the Fear the Dragon gelding out of the Royal Majesty Mare Gracie's Parade.
So any late driver change, get him into the seat office. Any late driver change, get him into the seat office.
So
We apologize. We are getting just a couple of last-minute changes. And so we will have a driver change on the 3 as we go into that. So the 2, Big Risk Sunny Derek Watercore will drive and trains, coming off of a second place finish at Mount Vernon, went a mile in 2 minutes 3/5. But 2 back from that at Circleville, June 16th, did have a first place finish in 1:59 4. 6 starts on the season and has hit the board 3 of those. And we're going to roll it over to Doug for our post parade.
For the third race, first division, 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Pace for $4,164. Blanket in memory of Doc Piper, Peoples, Ohio. These are the horses. Number 1 is Hard for One Guy, Alex Hawk driving. Number 2, Big Risk Sunny with Derek Wadiker. Drew Neal drives the 3, Hunkalicious. Sean Barker the 2nd with the 4, Splash Dragon. David Young the 2nd, the 5, Impactful Stretch. And number 6, Buckeye State, Mark St. Louis Jr. in the sulky. Drew Neal to drive the 3. Win Play Show, Exacta Quinella, and Trifecta on the 3rd. 4 minutes to post time. Wager now. Don't be shut out. They'll go to the gate in 4 minutes. Trifecta on the 3rd, along with Perfecta and Quinella wagering.
So 3 is Hunkalicious. Drew Neal's going to get the call for trainer Brian George. Scott and Dr. Lindsay Hagemeyer own the Western Terror gelding out of the Nob Hill High mare, Dr. Lindsay. Wonder who that horse was named after. 6 starts this year, a win, 2 seconds, a third. A little over $5,000. Took a qualifying mark of 58-2 at Scioto, coming off a second place finish at Courthouse and a win over at Wilmington.
The 4, Splash Dragon, will be driven by Sean Barker II. Ed Ryder trains the Fear the Dragon gelding. 5 starts on the year. 5 starts on the year and has not hit the board, but has made $24,000 lifetime. Not one that has been super consistent in starting every single week. So last start at what should have been the last start back at Mount Vernon did end up scratching. One before that was a qualifier. So the last official purse money start was all the way back June 3rd at Northfield.
The 5 is an Impactful Stretch. David Young the 2nd in the bike for trainer Steve Swatzel. Kent Wolf owns a Do Me That Again gelding. 10 starts this year, yet to hit the board.
In our 6, this is another one that will be a trailer, remember, because we do score 5 wide here at Piketon. So Buckeye State will start from our 2nd tier. Brett Schwartz trains the 3-year-old gelding by Yankee Cruiser. Mark St. Louis will be in the bike, one that's been relatively consistent but just hasn't won this year. So 10 starts, 1 second place finishes, and 5 third place finishes. That second place finish did just come last start out at Hilliard in 1:57.3. $21,000 made so far lifetime. So not a bad little 3-year-old by any means. Mike Webkenberg, we are moving into position. Well,
Yeah,
we
got
are
a couple of them heading back. So.
Yeah.
Yep. So looking here. Got a couple people on Facebook saying hi. Hi, Frank. So, not your Frank.
Okay.
I drove for him back when 30 years
Say
ago.
Frank is not here, Jeremy. Should I? Did I say? Didn't you get your glasses? What
No,
did you?
I didn't. I forgot them again. So the 1 Hard for One Guy, David Nolan, Jeff Kirkbride. Looks like he likes to front in. And it looks like Mark St. Louis is probably going to follow him out.
That is one thing, especially with coming from a 2nd tier. When you know that you're following a rail horse with gate speed, great. Get me into position.
Yep.
And Alex is not one, so that rail horse. Oh, there we go. We are back on. So that rail horse that Alex Hawk is on. Yep, so we just had a quick recall was all that explanation was. But regardless, Alex is not one that's afraid to lead either. That's where I was gonna go with that. So now after our recall, we are back and moving into position.
So I think we're having a little technical difficulty. We lost picture here. We'll get it back for you shortly, hopefully. But we will kind of keep you updated on the race here. As expected, Alex is on the front end. Mark St. Louis following him out of the second tier. They got Drew Neal hung on the outside with Hunkalicious. Not going to let him go, not going to give him a hole, even though there's a hole for the 3-hole, but Mark's going to let him in the 2-hole. So Hawks on the front end with Hunkalicious. Hard for one guy. Hunkalicious sitting second. Buckeye State sitting third. Fourth, Big Risk Sunny. Gap of 5. Back to Splash Dragon, and Impactful Stretch trails the field. Coming to the half here, Mark St. Louis is first up with Buckeye State. Following his cover is going to be Big Riscunny and Derek Wadaker, still a gap of 5 back to Splash Dragon and Impactful Stretch, but on the front end, there's Stride for Stride. At the 5/8, Alex on the front end.
To the outside,
there we
he picks up the cover. He'll have to go 3 wide, down the backside. Hunkalicious buried fourth. Racing Fifth, Splash Dragon on the outside. Impactful Stretch at the 3/4 mark. 3/4, 127-1. And Hard for One guy has answered the call. He opens up by 2. On the outside, coming 3 wide. That's Buckeye State. Up the inside, nowhere for go to Hunkalicious. They're off the turn. They're on their way home. Hard for One guy. Hunkalicious the inside. The outside, Big Risk Sunny. Big Risk Sunny. Hard for One guy. Hard for One guy. Big Risk Sunny or Hunkalicious for that place position to be a photo for place. 157-1.
So yes, I just mentioned track records. We are getting closer. We are inching closer, especially with our 3-year-old Colt Pacers.
Yeah. So we got her video back. I don't have to announce the race anymore. Oh, that is one thing I've been trying to practice on, is announcing.
I was going to say, you were doing a good job. I was like, I am not brave enough to give that a go, but you did a great job.
Yeah. Of course, at night, I've got a couple programs with me. While I'm doing business checks, I'll replay a Scioto or something, and I'll sit in the cruiser and practice a little bit every now and then. But just looking at your screen, phone screen, kind of hard to see the numbers. That's my only problem. But so Hard for One guy goes gate to wire, as he has done in the last 2 starts. That makes it 3 straight into Buckeye State. For the David Nolan-owned, Jeff Kirkbride trained Fear the Dragon gelding. And that will be a new lifetime mark for him.
I say I didn't get all the quarters, but I got the 3/4 and 127-1 with that final mile time and 157-1.
So, and was not the betting favorite again. I know Scott Rooks is down there. He likes to gamble a little bit. I'm going to go down there and see if he's doing any good today.
I mean, I guess our windows, are they underneath the grandstand? I didn't even pass because I came across from the backside, so they must be kind of on the back or underneath our grandstand. That makes 3 in a row for hard for one guy.
Yep. Then Mark St. Louis, he ended up letting Neal in 2-hole. I'd say there was plenty of room behind him, but he was going to do that. And then come first up, so.
For 3-year-old Colton Gilding Pacers, this division for 4,164. Here's the one hard for one guy. 3-year-old Brown Gilding by Fear the Dragon out of the Royal Majesty Mare Gracie's Parade. Third of the season for hard for one guy. David Nolan, Gallipolis, Ohio owns. Jeff Kirkbright trains. Alex Hawk drives the winner. Lifetime mark 157-1 for hard for one guy. Final half 59-1. Blanket by in memory of Doc Piper, Peoples, Ohio.
So a little interesting here. Winner's circle right in the middle of the track. Camera person in the infield. Ellen would be losing her stuff.
I was going to say, is Ellen is she at Scioto tonight, or what is she up to?
She was last night at Scioto. Trying to think. She's going to Lexington Sunday. Do the pictures down there.
Is she?
Yeah, the lady couldn't make it. Didn't have anybody to replace her. Called Brad, and Brad said, well, let me ask Ellen. And Ellen jumped all over that.
Cool.
You get $51. 1, 2, and any number, $51. Quinella 2320, exact as a consolation. 1 on top with any number. Consolation payout on that exacta.
So hard for one guy. Gets to win. Big Risk Sunny second. Punkalicious third. Splash Dragon sixth. Impactful Stretch 5 and Buckeye State 4. The guy in the dark black t-shirt that was in the winner's circle, that was David Nolan. He trained out of Athens. Oh, sorry. Doug's talking.
Buckeye State 4. Lifetime mark for the winner, hard for one guy, 157-1. 28 for the quarter, the half 58. 3 quarters, 127-1. 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 4 on the bottom.
All right, so that was our official from Doug. So we went 1, 2, 3, 6 across the wire. Milan 157-1. That were not some bad quarters for that group.
No.
So hard for one guy, gets the win, makes it 3 in a row for trainer Jeff Kirkbride. Alex Hawk was in the bike. That was our first division of 3-year-old Colt Pacers. Next, we have a field of 6 for the 4th. 3-year-old Colt Trotters. Purse of $5,975. We will be back after this.
Own a little and love it a lot. TheStable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. TheStable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at TheStable.ca.
For over 50 years, Midland Acres has provided top-quality Ohio-bred colts and fillies. As a third-generation farm, we understand the importance of delivering well-cared-for and well-mannered yearlings. Get in the winner's circle with the yearlings by Fear the Dragon, Yankee Cruiser, Long Tom, Summa Cum Laude, Ready for Moni, and Bit of a Legend. See our yearlings at the Blooded Horse Sale August 27th and the Ohio Select Sale September 15th.
Back here at Pike County Fair, Piketon, Ohio. Race 4 coming up. 3-year-old trotting colts. So, sorry, I'm looking, do you have an echo in your?
Yeah, I say we have a little bit of.
Long Tom colt is out of the Trot for Joy mare, Eggy's Joy. 2 starts this year. Has a 3rd place finish over at Wellston. Was 4th last start over at Carrollton. Has made just a little over $1,300 this year.
The 2 race day, Drew Neal will be in the bike for trainer Rosie Weaver. This is a gelding by creatine. So coming off of 2 straight wins, last start back was July 21st at Marysville, went wire to wire in 2:01 and 3. Now Rosie and Drew Neal, this is a pair that we see quite often, so she obviously trusts him to get her stock around the track. So with race day, 7 starts on the year, 3 of those have been wins with 1 second place finish. Lifetime has made almost $21,000.
The 3 Weston Jet, Ronnie Gillespie drives for Aaron Chandler. Uncle Peter Gelding out of the Master Levesque Mail, TK's Lizzie Beth, who's bred by the legend Terry Milhone. 4 starts this year. Yet to hit the board. It's got a couple of X's on there. Did start up at Scioto a couple weeks ago. Actually, a couple months ago, back in May. Trotted 2-1 and 3. Looks like had a little time off. Threw the trot and hobbles on. Bring him back to the fairs and see what he can do. Maybe braving him up a little bit and get him back up to the raceways. So Weston Jet did not start as a 2-year-old last year. So it was a $10,500 Buckeye Classic yearling purchase. The 3, Weston Jet.
All right, our 4, I did not get a driver.
Neither
I
did
know
I.
to say. We should have a driver change because Alex Hawk did pick off, but so we do not have, I don't see him out right now. So we will have a driver change. We will give you that as soon as we get it, but Block Island Sound, Mike Sowers trains, and this is a 3-year-old gelding by Long Tom. Last start out did end up second with a pocket trip after a pocket trip at Washington Courthouse Mile in 2:04 and 4. 18 lifetime starts, 3 of those wins as they all came as a 2-year-old, with also 3 second place finishes lifetime. Has made almost $26,000. Took a mark at the age of 2 in 2 minutes and 1/5 up at Northfield.
Mike had a 2-year-old race last night. I can't remember if he was in the Sire Stakes or the Buckeye Stallion Series. Won a big mile, ended up 2nd or 3rd. But here the 5 is Get to Caviar. Alex Hawk going to drive for trainer Charles Vigneron. Triumph Caviar out of the Lombard Laser Mare Plumio, owned by Cheryl Vigneron out of West Virginia. 5 starts this year, a win, $3,200 in the bank. Took a qualifying mark at 2-1. Change over at the Meadows. Lone win came over at Wellston. Trotted in 2-3 and 3. Gate to wire. Good trip over there. Or no, that was Wilmington with the Wellston. Finished 4th. After being parked, and then scratched at Bucyrus.
And our 6, so this is our trailer. Commander Tom David Young, the 2nd, will be in the bike for Steve Carter. This is another one by Long Tom and has most recently really started to figure it out, to say the least. So the last 3 starts have been at fairs, and they've all been great finishes. So 3 back at Wilmington was a winner, wire to wire in 2:01 flat. Ron Gillespie was in the bike, but David has been behind this Long Tom plenty of times, to say the least. All the way back on July 4th, I say all the way back, which really wasn't all the way back, but July 4th did start a BSS leg and ended up 2nd from the 7 post position. So got that mile done in 1:56 and 1. Had a great 2-year-old year and is off to a decent start, of course, as a 3-year-old. But as a 2-year-old alone, Commander Tom made over $71,000. Lifetime has now made almost $90,000.
And that $71,000 was only in 10 starts.
Yeah, so that's another big one to note.
Yeah, $7,000 start. I'd take it.
It's a decent one to keep in your barn, having your rotation.
The 4, Block Island Sound, looks like it's going to be Mark St. Louis in the bike. So Doug's calling them out here. We got race day, Drew Neal as the 1-5 favorite. 2nd choice is Commander Tom, David Young, 7-2.
I don't think we've had a favorite win yet.
No, we have not.
And here we come to Doug for our post parade.
Horses are on the track for the 4th race. First Division Southern Valley Colt Circuit for 3-year-old Golden Gelding Trotters. Total purse $11,950. This division for $5,975. Blanket in memory of David Seif. A field of 6. Kristen Myers will drive the 1. Mark St. Louis Jr. to drive the 4. These are the horses. Number 1, Joyful Tom. Kristen Myers drives. Number 2, Race Day. The driver, Drew Neal. Ronnie Gillespie driving the 3, Weston Jet. Number 4, Block Island Sound. Mark St. Louis Jr., the driver. Number 6, Commander Tom. David Young, the 2nd. Coming to the track shortly, the 5, Get the Caviar, and Alex Hawk. Waiting on the 5, Get the Caviar. Win Play Show. Quinella. Exacta on the 4th. You have 4 minutes to post time. 4 minutes.
So Alex making his way to the track. He is all the way in the first turn. It looks like we're there. Who is that? Charles Vigneron stabled out of the trailer there today. So probably Alex had a drive in the last race over in the last turn and had to walk all the way over there. So we'll go with that. So Alex driving my Colt for me tomorrow. So.
Say Mark St. Louis, he is currently our leading driver. Now that hasn't been updated, as I believe four days ago was our last update from Roger. Roger is our numbers guy. If you are new to how we keep stats, that is purely Roger Houston. He does a great job, and we appreciate it so much. How that man does what he does and still helps us out is beyond me. But last I saw, so it was Mark and then Jeff Nysonger were 1-2 in our driver, all Ohio County Fair circuits.
And I think somebody was telling me the first year that you guys kind of kept track of it but didn't advertise it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Ronnie Gillespie won it that year. And I think Jeff made the comment, well, if I knew you was keeping track, I'd have tried a little harder.
He did it. That was me.
You, okay.
I knew that was. I'm going to say, because we kind of just started out of nothing. And it's an important statistic, honestly. Some of these drivers are amazing. The amount of starts they get, the amount of wins they end up scoring. But Ronnie, I believe, won 2 years in a row, at least 2 years in a row. We haven't kept track all that long. But the first year, yes, Ronnie was our winner. And Jeff is a competitive person. And no, we didn't really tell anybody. We just started doing it. And we did invite Ronnie to the banquet. He got a great award and a presentation with, our horse of the year and all that we do that night. And Jeff was like, well, I wish I would have known. I'm like, now you do. Now you do. But Ronnie did win that next year as well.
Yep.
We haven't seen near as much of Ronnie because he has made the move. He has some... Ronnie knows his trotters. I will give him that. Yeah. And he has made his move to the pari-mutuels and has BSS and Sire Stake horses.
Yep.
And is driving those.
Got a brother in blue sitting down beside you. What'd you do? Pike County Sheriff just sat down here and.
No, so I want to say later we will have a guest come on air because we have a special memorial race. And he has some family connections we will talk to. But
awesome.
Before we get to that, we are going to go right into our 4th race. They are moving into position. A field of 6 with 1 trailer.
First division for $5,975. Blanket in memory of David Seif. All in behind the Mike Wepkenberg starting gate. Here they come. Big rough in trotting, that's Block Island Sound going right out to the lead. Race Day from the inside. Joyful Tom, the inside, is third. On the outside, Get the Caviar racing fourth. Round the turn, off stride, Joyful Tom as they head up the backside. Going on over to the opening quarter, moving through the inside, Commander Tom, then it is Weston Jet. Down the backside they trot, all alone in the front, leading it by some 5 to 6. Block Island Sound and Mark St. Louis Jr. Commander Tom right there second. Weston Jet third. Race Day fourth. Joyful Tom fifth. Trailing the field. Get the Caviar by the quarter in 30 3/5. Round the turn to the 3/8 they trot. On top of the field, the leader. As they come into the lane first time, Mark St. Louis Jr. and Block Island Sound. Commander Tom right there second. Weston Jet racing third. They pass the stand for the first time, come to the half. Race Day Content fourth. Then it's two back to Joyful Tom fifth. The Trader Get the Caviar. They're into the turn, going to the 5/8. Block Island Sound the leader. Commander Tom second. The half 101 4/5. On to the 5/8 they trot. Racing third. Weston Jet. Then we got a break of some 4 to 5 lengths to Get the Caviar. Joyful Tom is off stride, and off stride also down the backside. Race Day. On to the 3/4 they trot. Block Island Sound, the 3-year-old big-goated son of a Long Tom, has him by a length. Commander Tom second. Weston Jet's out and on the move third. Get the Caviar fourth. Joyful Tom fifth. Race Day trails the field. 3/4, 1:32 They trot the far turn, a little better than 1/8 of a mile to trot. Block Island Sound has the lead, and he has it by 3 parts of a length. Here comes Commander Tom on the outside. Weston Jet down the stretch they come. Weston Jet. Commander Tom on the outside. Commander Tom, Block Island Sound together on the line. Commander Tom may have photo. Block Island Sound. Weston Jet home third. Fourth, Joyful Tom. The mile 2:02 4/5.
For 3-year-olds, we had a few breakers in that race.
I said that earlier. I was like, well, I don't want to say it's just 2-year-old filly trotters because it is no means ever that, but we did. That field scattered a little bit. I say that was very tight. Doug is telling, well, not us, because we're sitting here, but if you happen to be here, hold all your tickets. That was.
The starting gate, Drew Neal, Ron Gillespie.
I'm sure that was a very, very tight photo. But I did see the 6. I'm going to go here and say unofficially our winner was a 6, Commander Tom. That would make for the second win this season. Be our 4th lifetime win, but of course that is unofficial.
Yeah, I'll back you on that one, too. We're kind of sitting right here on the line.
I would say, and I am right on that line. And that's what, the race is not over till the race is over. It can change until that very final stride. I thought, waiting for that final run down from Doug, but I have the quarters in 30 3/5 to the half in 101 4. 3/4, 1:32 and that final mile time in 2:02 4.
Yep. Perfect pocket trip.
Looks like, some of the crew from the Steve Carter barn are making their way, so they must have, I don't want to say assumed, but they might have a feeling that the 6 Commander Tom was our winner. Still waiting for that official, but there we go. David Young has come back in front of our grandstand.
And
for
usually
that
drivers
one photo.
know.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how, but they...
Race First Division 3-year-old Golden Gulling Trot for $5,975. Southern Valley Colt Circuit Stake, the 6, Commander Tom. 3-year-old Big O, the son of a Long Tom. Out of the Ken Tab home there. 40 Loves Finley, bred by Midland Acres, home of J. Marsbarger. B4, D. Stanton, M. Kemper of Ohio, Steve Carter trains. David Young, the second, drives the winner of the 6, Commander Tom. 2:02 3/5, second of the season for Commander Tom. blanket in memory of David Sype.
So Commander Tom gets to win out of the pocket trip for trainer Steve Carter and owner Moss Barker 4, Kemper and Stanton. Second win for him. David's got racked up quite a few wins himself too, driving for Steve around the fairs here. And of course, when you have 7 or 8 horses in a day, and of course when they come out of the Steve Carter barn, they're ready to race. So Commander Tom gets the win. Block Island Sounds second. We're waiting for the rest of the official results. So we're doing that. We'll go to a commercial break and then get to run down afterwards, look at the 5th, and I think Ashley's got a guest for us to talk to.
Do you want your horse to shine in the winner's circle? Feed DAC Oil. It makes a world of difference.
When you need supplies for your horse, one name stands out: Big D's. Since 1976, Big D's Tack and Vet Supply has been the equine experts you can trust. Whatever your horse needs is available at Big D's Tack and Vet Supply. Visit the retail outlet in Streetsboro, Ohio, or order online at bigdweb.com for fast shipping. Most orders ship that day. Or call 1-800-321-2142. Big D's Tack and Vet Supply.
So we are back, going to head into race 5. So we will give just a moment. Is that comfortable? And so I have a guest, a very special guest. So we are going to head into race 5. That will be the second division for 2-year-old filly pacers. But before then, before we go ahead and introduce you to that field of 6, I have a special guest that has some very rich history in harness racing, specifically in Pike County. So if you were still on air with us later on, race 10, we have a memorial. And so would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is John Rittenauer, Jr.
And so our memorial is for George Rittenauer. So
that was my grandfather.
Yep, that is your grandfather. So can you tell us a little bit, everybody who's listening, why does he have that memorial race?
The memorial race, I guess the Fair Board applied for a grant, but my grandfather helped start the Trotters Association way back in 1920, and he was a president of the Trotters Association for several years, or I'm not for sure how many years he was. My memory forgets.
No, well, very cool. So we're talking about over 100 years ago.
Yes.
Over 100 years ago, and he was the one who brought racing specifically to Pike County.
Yes, he brought it to Pike County. There were, if I remember, he graduated from Yale Law School, and some of his law buddies that lived in the Columbus area and throughout the United States, they got together and came up with the idea of the U.S. Trotters Association, they were all interested in horses. Of course, that was back during the horse and buggy days.
When you couldn't get away from them, really.
Right.
Well, cool stuff. But it's not just your grandpa that has the history, because you still have your ties. But then tomorrow we have another memorial race named after your dad.
Yes, that was John T. Rittenauer Sr. That was my dad. And he was also involved with the Trotters Association, and he was also involved with the Pike County Fair Board. He was president for several years, several times. And my dad passed away in 2000, and he was in the harness racing business, didn't own a horse per se, but we have a building here or next to the fairgrounds. It's a white building with a red barn, and there's a local gentleman that rents it out, and he's into the harness racing. He doesn't have anything racing at the Pike County Fair this year. They're either too young or too old.
Yeah. So is that this, I say, Tom, if we could shoot this white barn all the way, kind of coming out of our first turn. So this is the barn that you're referring to that
Yes,
you
ma'am.
own that still has trainers,
Yes.
has our standardbreds out of it.
Yes.
So do you have any memories, any stories of did your parents ever take you to the racetrack, or how were you
I used to
involved?
sell programs at the county fair when I was old enough to exchange
Money.
money, and I think the first programs that I sold, they were 15 cents, and then they went to a quarter, and I sold them back when I was in grade school.
I was going to ask how much, if you remembered how much you
That
used to
was
sell them for.
back, I still remember my grandfather sitting up in the judge's stand, which is directly across. It's changed because it was a block building.
Yeah.
But my dad was a timer. I don't know what my grandfather, and then there another gentleman by the name of Frank Cooper. He had a grocery store in Piketon. He was involved with the horses, and his son John Cooper, who I believe worked with Nationwide Insurance for many years. He was the announcer for the horse races.
Small world. I say
And-
so many, it's all intertwined.
Yes.
Well, very cool. And I say, anything else you would like to leave us
Nope.
with? Any special notes?
Nope.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, great piece of history. I mean, we come to all these county fairs, and I'm not local. I'm from, Western Ohio. But there's so much. Just because I don't know it doesn't mean that these tracks aren't important and don't share such rich, rich, rich history.
Okay.
All
Thank you
right.
very
well,
much.
thank you very much.
Have a
and
safe trip home.
I'm sure we will see you in the Winter Circle for the 10th for the memorial presentation.
Yes.
All right. Well, best of luck to everybody in the 10th. Thank you for hopping along. And we are going to move into our 5th race. And I say we are waiting. Let's see, I'll help you take that off. Thank you so much. We are there. Here is Jeremy making his way back. Jeremy, did you happen to get that official rundown? For the 4th. All right. So we will, I apologize. I was obviously interviewing and talking with somebody. So
I was just plain talking.
So our 4th race finally did go official. We did have an inquiry, but regardless, we can hop up and we will get that official rundown and give it to you. But Jeremy, would you like to maybe talk about the 5th while I go do that?
100% I will, Miss Ashley. 5th race, 2-year-old Pacing Fillies, 2nd division. Purse of $4,479 in memory of John Foster. We are scratched down to a field of 5. Number 1, Sunshine Player. Brady Clemens in the bike for trainer Eric Nesselrode. Susan Offenberger of Beverly, Ohio. Owns the Strong Player filly out of the Sunshine Beach mare Sunshine Molly. She's had 3 starts this year, a 2nd, 2 thirds, closing in on $2,500. Was 2nd last week at Carrollton, 3rd at Wellston, 3rd at Circleville. The 2, Timmy Deaton's going to be in the bike for Emerald Diamond. Steve Carter trained, Adam Freeland. Cass Gallagher owns the Muscle Diamond filly. That's right. This is the Trotting Bred Pacer for Steve. The Conway Hall mare, Emerald My Way. 3 starts this year. Picked up a win over at Wellston and a third over at Washington Courthouse. After making a couple of breaks, come back a big mile, finished 29-3, and made a little over $2,300 this year. 2-6 at Wellston. It's her lifetime mark with Timmy and the bike. The 3 is scratched. The 4, Long Live Cowgirls. And there's our train. Train number 2. I waited for a second.
As soon as I put my my headphones back on, our train pushed right on through.
So that's number 2. So what's the over-under? I'm going to say we have at least 2 more trains.
Well, we've already had 2, so we've got to be over. You mean 2 more?
Oh,
okay.
More. Yeah.
Well, we're not even halfway through our program. I'm going to say I'm taking the over.
Okay.
I'm taking the over. We'll aim for about 3.
3. All right. Long Live Cowgirls. Mark St. Louis in the bike for trainer Brett Swartz, who owns the Yankee Cruiser filly with Hired Guns Racing, Racehorse Express, both from Washington Courthouse. Big Bad John mare, Big Bad Delight. She was bred by Alexis Swartz. 4 starts this year, has a 3rd place finish over at Washington Courthouse. Home track there was 4th at Hilliard's the week before. The 5 is our Aurora. Ronnie Gillespie's going to drive for trainer Dustin Arledge. Gregory Clark, Dustin Arledge, Mary Thompson all own the Catch the Fire filly out of the Cardinal mare Donna Marie. She's one start. Oh.
I say one second. We actually do not have the official for the 4th. That inquiry is still up, so our judges are going to hop over and rewatch that video just to make sure that they can have the right call. Say while we are waiting, I'm gonna hop on Facebook really quick, and I apologize. I know that this broadcast has kind of felt here, there, and everywhere. We appreciate you, as always, joining on and bearing with us. Where are we gonna say? So if I'm taking a look on Facebook, doesn't seem to be too many questions, but I do have Sharon Jacks. We were watching from Columbus. We appreciate it. Not too far away. Says there was an association in northeastern Ohio. Don't remember the exact name. And very cool. I'd say we have such rich history. Of course, used to be much larger much larger in terms of at least the circuit than we are now. But looks like we have some viewers from Indiana, Waverly. Say not too many. So make sure you are checking in with me. To see you. Thanks as always for joining. It is a great night here at Pike County Fair here in Piketon. This is day 1 of 2. Today we have 11 on tap. Tomorrow I believe we have 9. I will come back tomorrow with Trish Soulsby. That should be my co-host. So our judges are still viewing video to make that final call about the inquiry and to have our final results from race 4. We'll take a moment and we will talk a little bit about specifically the Southern Valley Colt Circuit. So that is the fair the circuit that Piketon Fair is a member of. And they are a little bit different than our other 3 circuits. And that is because their purse distribution changes. So most fairs you go to, pari-mutuels, your winner gets 50% of the purse. But here at Southern Valley, we actually split. So our winner gets 45%. Second place is 25%. Third place is 15%. Fourth is 10%. And fifth is 5%. So really it differs. The winner, the third place, and the fourth place differ here at Southern Valley. So at a normal racetrack at our other circuits in Ohio, our winner gets 50%, 25% for second, 12% for the third. So that, of course, that differs. And another differing percentage is our fourth place. Normally get 8% with our fifth place at 5%. So just a touch different. Something that, keep in mind when you are racing here. Even if you're not winning and getting the largest portion of the check, you can definitely still make money. As Jeremy hops back on, we were just rattling a little bit about the Southern Valley and how the purse distribution is different as you helped our judges kind of review some of our footage.
Yep. Yeah.
So that is one thing about what we do is we're able to actually look back.
Yeah, and I know Mr. Bergano, he uses you guys a lot too because he wants to get it right. The former warden.
Who is the inquiry against? Before did you hear?
Yeah, I know Ronnie Gillespie and Drew Neal were involved.
Okay,
2 and
so
3.
Really it's not our winner. It should not affect our winner from the fourth, Commander Tom, but it can possibly affect our place.
Yep. So who was the gentleman you had?
Yes, so John Rittenauer. So I apologize. You had to get off the mic to let him use it. We'll go over to Doug for the final.
Day finished 6th, placed 5th. 3, Weston Jet finished 3rd, placed 6th. 4, Black Island Sound 2. 5, Get the Caviar finished 5th, placed 4th. 6, Commander Tom the winner. 202 3/5, 30 3/5, 101 4, 132 1. Now the placing on the 3, Weston Jet finished 3rd, place 6. After the half, going into the turn to the 5/8, interfered with the 2 race day. So it is a 4 place 3 on your top, 6 place 5, 3 place 6, 2, 5 place 4, 1 on the bottom. Your top 3 finishers, 6, 4, and 1 for your mutuals. Upcoming 5th, scratch the 3 Tip, along with a 5 are Aurora. 3 and 5 are scratched in the 5th.
All right, so it took us a while, but that's why they do what they do to make that official call. So our winner was not affected in the 4th. Commander Tom does go a mile in 2:02 4. And with that Block Island Sound, the 4-horse did remain 2nd. The only change that we had is Weston Jet was 3rd place 6. So when it comes to wagering tickets, it went 6-1-4. So Joyful Tom was 4th place 3rd because of that interference.
Yep. And Doug announced scratch the 5 in this race, our Aurora, but she's out on the track.
Oh, well.
Driver changed Ronnie Gillespie, but yeah, she's out there.
Okay, so apologies. We're going to go to the post parade and we will figure it out right along with you.
Horses are on the track for the 5th race. 2nd Division 2-year-old filly pace, $4,479. Blanket in memory of John Foster scratched the 3. Tip, Ronnie Gillespie drives the 5. Number 1, Sunshine Player, Brady Clemens drives. 2, Emerald Diamond, Tim Deaton. The 3 is scratched. Number 4, Long Live Cowgirls, Mark St. Louis Jr. Ronnie Gillespie, the 5, R. Aurora. 6, Surviving Fire, Sean Barker, the 2nd, in the sulky. Win Place Show, Exacta, Trifecta on the 5th. Definitely 5 minutes to post time. Take them around the track about twice. Lines are going to be long, cashing tickets with that delay. We got to give time on the backside to the clerk take them around the track twice, and then you can go to the gate, and we'll see where we're at from there.
So somebody asked how long in between races. We try not to make it too long, but when you got an inquiry and stuff, get things sorted out. So we'll get it rolling back here, 5th race. So scratch it down to a field of 5. No odds are on the board yet because they're showing the mutuals from last race. We'll get them up here in just a minute. But I am going to go with 2-year-old Pace of Phillies, the 6, Surviving. Michael Hitchcock. Train, Catch the Fire filly. So how have of course, I'm a trotting guy, so I don't pay much attention to the Pacers. How are the Catch the Fires doing this year?
Good.
Are they?
And so this should be the first crop that's on the track that we're watching, and they're making their statements. I'm off the top of my head, there are some going in the Ohio Sire Stakes. I don't think we've seen a winner yet, but I might be mistaken. I'm sure there are plenty that are watching that are maybe keeping tabs a little bit closer than I am that can maybe comment on that. But BSS, we've seen all across the board, which is realistically what you want. I mean, you don't just have to have, as a stallion, you don't just have to have top earners. Of course that helps. Helps when it comes to your stud fee and things like that. But there is a place for everybody. There should be a place for everybody.
And I think with trotters, it's more about numbers game. How many trotters make it to the races?
See, 100%. And I feel like I have this conversation constantly, whether it's in my own circle, in the office, doesn't matter. It's how much this industry has exploded in the last, even just five years. And Pacers, it's how genetically talented are you? There's not a whole lot of knack. Virtually everything wears hobbles. It's very rare to see a free-legged Pacer anymore. It's just how fast genetically can I go? What's my attitude versus a trotter? There's so much more finesse. And as a trainer, you really can make or break that horse.
Yes.
All right.
Most trotting trainers are bald.
Are you outing yourself on that one?
100%. Yes.
So you heard it here first. Oh, goodness. But anyway, we do have our 5th race going behind the gate. Thanks for staying patient with us as we were figuring things out as well. So the 2nd division for 2-year-old filly Pacer is a purse of $4,479, a field of 6 with 1 trailer. We will throw it up to Doug.
All in behind the Mike Wepkenberg starting gate. The gate swings into the stretch, and here they come. They're up and pacing, going for the lead. Long Live Cowgirls from the inside. Sunshine Player moving into the turn. Surviving Fire. Our Aurora in that order as they race around the turn. Racing on over to the opening 8th and trailing the field. Down the backside, Emerald Diamond. To the opening quarter they go. Brady Clemens, Sunshine Player lead the way. Up on the outside, here comes Surviving Fire. Sean Barker, the 2nd to the front. Surviving Fire, 2-year-old Bay Phillip, Catch the Fire, opens up by 3. Sunshine Player is 2nd, racing 3rd as they race around the turn. Our Aurora racing 4th. On over to the 3/8 mark they go. Mark St. Louis Jr. and Long Live Cowgirls by the quarter in 30 2/5 and trailing a field. Emerald Diamond, field of 5. Come past us for the first time. Coming on over to the halfway point. Surviving Fire, looking for seasons win number 2, leads it by 2. Sunshine Player, the pocket sitter, 2nd. Our Aurora racing 3rd. Racing 4th and moving to the outside. Long Live Cowgirls. Emerald Diamond trails the field. Halfway home in 101 4/5. Around the turn to the 5/8 they go. Field of Pacers being led by Surviving Fire and Barker 2. Sunshine Player is 2nd. Out and on the move on the outside. Now 3rd and moving up with every stride. Our Aurora buried to the inside. Long Live Cowgirls 4th. Racing 5th. As he raced down the backside, the trailer is Emerald Highland. Surviving Fire still there. Sunshine Player right turn ready to move. On the outside, Long Live Cowgirls. 3/4 quarters, 132-1. They circle the far turn, the one to catch Surviving Fire. Right there, second is Sunshine Player. Joining the chase, Long Live Cowgirls. They're off the turn, they're on their way home. Surviving Fire with each and every stride by 4, now 5, now 6. Surviving Fire. Second, Sunshine Player. Third, Long Live Cowgirls. 2 minutes, 1/5.
Nice last quarter.
I'm gonna say you may or may not have called that one, didn't you? Right before they started moving behind the gate. Surviving Fire, Sean Barker the second for trainer Michael Hitchcock.
So yeah, 2 minutes last quarter and 28 seconds flat.
And I say, and Sean still had quite a bit of hold coming across the wire. Probably could have pushed a touch more if really, but at that, what's the point?
Yep.
What's the point?
Yep.
You got the win, and you're still going to be able to race tomorrow. That's the key.
Yes. And that's why you don't see the trainer driver anymore, because the trainer's going to take care of that horse because they know they've got to deal with it for the next, till the next start. Whereas catch drivers, not that they don't care or anything, but
You're just you're not near as familiar with the horse. You don't sit behind him every day.
Yep. And you don't have to do up legs and stuff the next day
And
soak feet and
put all the really hard work. And our caretakers, speaking of that, our caretakers just never get enough credit. Of course, our small trainers, they'll do it right then and there themselves, but the larger ones with, dozens of horses in the barn, there are so many people behind them that keep their horses going too.
Yeah, like I said, with having one horse, I can spend an hour and a half with him every day. Whereas these guys got 20.
Cowgirls 6-1-4.
Okay, where you at, Barker? Oh, there he is in the turn. Yeah, these guys got 20, 30, 40 horses, and they don't have enough help because everybody's begging for help. They just don't have the time to do their barn work, get to the races.
Yeah, because this is an all and another train as passes us by. So there's one. There's one more. But regardless, here comes Sean back in front of the stands. 2 in a row for Surviving Fire.
One of the 5th, the second division of the 2-year-old filly pace Southern Valley Colt Circuit. This division for $4,479. Here's the 6th, Surviving Fire. She's a 2-year-old bay filly by Catch the Fire out of the Ponderosa mare, Lions Mandate. She's owned by William Hart, Carmel, Maryland. Michael Hitchcock trained. Sean Barker, the second, drives the winner of the mile. 2 minutes, 1/5. Surviving Fire, Sean Barker, the second. Take the second division of the 2-year-old filly pace. New lifetime mark for the winner, Surviving Fire, blanket in memory of John Foster. Surviving Fire, 620, 220, and 210. 614 tries, 1780. Quinella 760, Exacta all and one consolation payout. Results are official. Number 1, Sunshine Player 2. 2, Emerald Diamond 4. 3 was Scratch 4. Long Live Cowgirls 3, 5. Our Aurora 5. The 6, Surviving Fire, the winner. The mile 2 minutes and a 5th. 30 and 2/5. 101 and 4. 132 and 1. 2-4 Scratch 3-5. 1 on the bottom. 6th race in about 12 minutes. Win Place Show Quinella. Exacta on the 6th. Scratch number 4, Madam Birdie. Scratch the 4, Madam Birdie, along with the 6. Fancy Prize 4 and 6 are scratched in the upcoming 6th race. Baked Spaghetti, Doodle Bug, Eckerd Hill Addy, Plucky Pammy T. Flawless Design. Bring them right on.
All right, so there we go. There was our official, of course, the 6, Surviving Fire, wins the second time in a row in just 3 lifetime starts. Mile in 2 minutes and 1/5. That was our second division for 2-year-old filly pacers. Next, we will move on to our 6th race, second division for 2-year-old filly trotters. Pretty nice purse, but we will have, well, originally was supposed to be a field of 7 that has now been scratched down to a field of 5. Jeremy and I will introduce you to those fillies next.
Cool Winds Farm in Lima, Ohio is a full-service standardbred breeding farm. Cool Winds stands the popular dancing Yankee, a 2-time world champion, along with 2019 jug winner Southwind Ozzy, a son of Some Beach Somewhere. Cool Winds also stands the royally bred $2 million earning Western Fame. Be sure to inspect the Cool Winds yearlings at the Ohio Selected Jug Sale at Pickaway on Friday, September 13th.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine, and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661.
Back here for the 6th race at the Pike County Fair here in Piketon, Ohio. We got blue skies. The wind is blowing. The sun is not in our face. Like
I will say, the sun is on my back. It's kind of warm as the sun is setting. It's behind us in the grandstand, and it's still a very nice night, but I'm like, woo, I can feel my very pale skin can feel it.
Well, I had my Yeti cup up here, and I went to grab it earlier, and it was a little warm. So I had to get it out of the sun.
But before we go in to our 6th race, I did see a question online that said, I think it was Shane, said, how's Ulysses? I'm assuming you mean, if you're commenting, if you hear me, Rose Run Ulysses. He is good. So that is one that, oh, there's a train.
That went that way this time.
Okay. So, but Rose Run Ulysses, that was an open level pacer that my mom has. It was the last horse, very special to us. It was the last horse that my mom and dad owned together. He is very good. He's taken quite a bit of time off. He just needed some break. He needed some break. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But he should be back for Dayton. But why I kind of noticed, I assume that you're talking about that, is there's a two-year-old named just Ulysses now that's at Scioto Downs.
Oh, is there?
And I was like, well, there's Rose Run Ulysses and there's just Ulysses, so they should never meet up. But I was like, man, very close in days.
Trying to make sure.
Right.
Yep. So the 2-year-old trotting fillies here, Kentucky Machinery LLC is the blanket sponsor. I'm glad to see we have sponsors for every race here, and they're giving away fly sheets today. I don't see them giving away blankets much anymore. It's usually fly sheets.
I'm going to say, I was just at a fair, and I cannot remember. Sydney gave away full blankets, and then I believe Marysville gave away like watering buckets stuffed with things.
Yes.
Yeah, so you were there too.
Roy Burns' son and daughter-in-law put the buckets together.
They were very
and gave
nice.
The winners.
Yeah, they were very nice. But no, it is. You don't see trophy blankets near as much as you used to, and we have an entire extra room full of blankets, which because you can only use so many.
Right.
And they do last a while, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And they're perfect for those cold nights in the bedroom.
My
wife was like, ew, you used a horse blanket when we first met? And now she knows
I was going to say, what does she think now?
Yeah.
They're great blankets. No, I always, growing up, I always had one on the foot of my bed in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get back on track here, and let's talk about horses. Although it's a lot more fun chit-chatting, though. So the one we're going to look at, Baked Spaghetti. Alex Hawk's going to drive for Earl Owings. Frank Johnson owns the Bit of a Legend filly. She's out of the Some Beach Somewhere mare, Homemade Pasta. 2 starts this year. It's not hit the board yet. Doesn't like to leave the gate very well. It's a break both starts at Wellston and Courthouse. So let's see if Alex can get her out of the gate this time.
The 2 Doodlebug will be driven by Christian Myers for trainer Barney Dillon. This is a 2-year-old by Jitterbug, so not a breeding that we see super often, especially with trotters. We tend to see a lot of long toms and things of that nature. But anyway, so 2-year-old by Jitterbug has only had 1 start and is looking to stay perfect. Went wire to wire back at Wellston with a mile in 2:14. Has made, well, just in that 1 start, almost $3,000.
Yeah. The 3 is Eckert Hill Addy. Drew Neal's going to drive for trainer Rosie Weaver, who co-owns with Heartland Acres and Cabby D LLC. Never heard of them before. Triumphant Caviar filly out of the Muscle Mass mare Carry the Torch. She's had 4 starts this year, a couple thirds. The last third was over at Bell Fountain. Started in the first leg of the Sire Stakes. Trotted in 2 minutes up at Northfield, but did not get a check. Then come back second leg of the Buckeye Stallion Series. Had the 9-hole, parked to the quarter, and was 4th place 6 for some reason there at Scioto. It did trot in 59-4.
In the 5, Mark St. Louis Jr. will drive Plucky Pammy T for Brett Schwartz. This is a long tom. Has had 4 lifetime starts, 2 of those wins, and they have been most recent back-to-back at Washington Courthouse and at Hilliard. Went wire to wire at Washington Courthouse back on July 20th, mile in 2:09 and 3, and 2 starts back at Hilliard. Also went wire to wire in 2:08, and that is our lifetime mark for Plucky Pammy T. Has made $7,100. Owned by Schwartz himself, W. Bean, and D. Fagan, as well as Racehorse Express.
The 6 is out. Rounding out the field from the second tier is going to be Flawless Design. Cato Young drives, trains, owns the Marcel filly out of the Cadabra mare Flawless Beauty. 2 starts this year, 2 thirds. Last start was at Washington Courthouse. Made a break going to the quarter pole. The start before that over at Wellston did stay trotting. So scratch down to a field of 5. The 5-horse Plucky Pammy T, our 4-5 favorite right now. Doodlebug at 2-1. But the 3 Eckert Hill Addy at 10-1. And that surprises me. If you're trotting 59, 2 minutes.
Might want to go run down and put $2 on her.
Next out.
No, but it is so. I know we've been talking all night. So this track does score 5 wide, but even with these scratches, we will still have trailers. So the way that the rules are and then how it goes is you can not move. How do I want to say? You can slide down the rail, but you cannot move up. So it doesn't matter. Even if most of the field scratches, you will always, if you draw as a trailer, you will go behind the gate as a trailer.
So flip it up.
On the track, 6th race, second division, Southern Valley Colt Circuit. 2-year-old filly trot for $6,080. Trophy by Kentucky Machinery LLC. Scratch the 4 and the 6. Number 1, Baked Spaghetti, Alex Hawk drives. Number 2, Doodlebug, Kristen Myers. Number 3, Eckert Hill Addy, Drew Neal, the driver. 4 scratch. Number 5, Plucky Pammy T, Mark St. Louis Jr. The 6 is scratch. Number 7, Flawless Design, Cato Young in her sulky. Win, play, show. Exacta Quinella wagering on the 6th. You have 4 minutes to post time. 4 minutes.
So second division, the 2-year-old trotting fillies here. They haven't been in abundance much either, but we had 2 big fields of trotting fillies today. But noticing, like I said earlier when I talked about the trotting colts, only 8 of them staked down through here. 18, I'm sorry. That was across the board. Now, the bonus fares, what we call, if you stake across the board in the OCRA, Home Talent, or Southern Valley Circuit, then you get 3 bonus fares in another circuit at a reduced rate. And a lot of them choose Piketon as their bonus fare from the OCRA or Home Talent.
Really?
Yeah,
I guess I
Piketon
didn't realize that.
and Zanesville
Okay.
are the 2 that most people who don't come to the River Southern Valley Circuit, these are the two fairs they go to. I'm like, how come nobody uses their bonus fare at Rock Springs? You got to go. I'm telling you, you've got to go to
I have never
Rock.
been. That's what before we hopped on air tonight, I was talking. I just haven't been to. They have never sent me to very many Southern Valley Colt Circuit fairs. I want to say Athens, Southern Valley. So I've been to Athens. I've been to one or two, not very many. And so every new place, like, oh, this is a new fair, this is a new fair. And he's like, well, have you been to Rock Springs? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But that one is well known. For whatever reason, it may be well known, but definitely.
Ask Scott Cisco about it.
Yeah.
He made a mistake. He watched the OHHA broadcast the day before I took him down there. He called me up that night and said, what did you get me into?
Oh.
I said, what do you mean? He said, I watched the broadcast. I said, oh, you messed up, dude.
All of these tracks are different. I mean, these tracks are old. At the end of the day, all of these county fair tracks have been here for many, many, many years.
Yes.
And so they are all shaped a little bit differently, like we were talking. So this first turn here at Piketon, I mean, you get out of the gate and you're in the first turn, and it's also very sharp.
Yeah.
So we try our best, right, to make sure everything is exactly a mile and looks uniform. But at the end of the day, these tracks were put in well before we had a whole lot of standard.
Yeah. And like I said, here at Piketon, if you've never been here, we kind of sit up on a hill. So right behind the grandstand, it drops off into the railroad tracks. And the barn area you see on the backside, as soon as you get past that barn, it drops off 50, 75 feet. So there's not much room for the track.
I'd say this is a very small fair. If we have people tuning in that have never been, I'm sure as you have watched the races, you've kind of seen not very many barns.
No.
We do have year-round trainers here that you might be able to speak on just a little bit more than myself. But
Yep, we got Rodney Harness, and I got a story on his grandpa Carl Harness. I think Doyle Bross, he has some stalls over here, and he brings his horses over here to train. He's got a farm track there where he lives, so he jogs them there every day, brings them over here to train. The gentleman you was talking to, there's a stable over there, the Hilltopper Barn. There's somebody over there that trains, and I can't think of their name. And Scott just told me, Scott Rooks down there, owns a couple horses in today. And Terry Thompson Jr. used to train here. I think he's up at Winner's Circle now. So, the Pfeiffers. That's who I'm forgetting.
that's okay.
Dustin and Clayton Pfeiffer, wonderful family. Very nice people. The last accident I was in up at Zanesville, before I knew it, Dustin had the mare. He was warming up for me and everything. And so I just put him up to drive. Of course, that was 30-some years ago too. But, yeah, great people. So I think that's all that trains here.
Well, perfect timing, though, because our starter is getting into position in our field of 7 that has been scratched. Nope, that is the wrong race.
We're on race 6.
The wind got me.
Down to a field of 5. Baked Spaghetti, Doodlebug, Eckert Hill Addy, Plucky Pun, Pammy T, and Flawless Design. Some fun names to stay in here. I'm glad it's Doug. That
Behind
said,
the Mike Wepkenberg starting gate. Here they come. They're up and trotting out for the lead. Eckert Hill Addy to her inside. Doodlebug comes out on the inside. Coming out in third, Plucky Pammy T is moving to the turn. Flawless Design. Baked Spaghetti back, trails the field as he trot on over to the opening 8. Down the backside they go. Eckert Hill Addy, Drew Neal lead him by 2. Racing second up the backside. Going on over to the opening quarter mark. Doodlebug next in third. Flawless Design going to the opening quarter. On the inside, Plucky Pammy T and Baked Spaghetti can see them all. Straight alignment by the quarter in 30 4/5. Round the turn to the 3/8 they trot with the lead as they race around the turn. Coming on over to the 3/8 mark. That is Eckert Hill Addy and Drew Neal leading by 2. Doodlebug next in second. A big gap to Plucky Pammy T next. Then it is Flawless Design, and way back, Baked Spaghetti is the trailer. Passing the stand for the first time. They come to the half. On top at the halfway point is Eckerd Hill Addy. Doodlebug is second. Plucky Pammy T third. Flawless Design is fourth. The half in 102 and 4/5, and Baked Spaghetti is the trailer. Around the turn they trot. They trot on over to the 5/8. Eckerd Hill Addy's got every call and trying to take them all the way. Doodlebug, nose to helmet is second. Plucky Pammy T third. Flawless Design fourth. Baked Spaghetti trails the field. Down the backside they trot. Here comes Doodlebug to the outside. Eckerd Hill Addy the inside. Doodlebug up on the outside. Plucky Pammy T third. 3/4, 134 and 2. They race around the final turn on the inside with the lead. Eckerd Hill Addy. Doodlebug on the outside. Plucky Pammy T is third. Racing fourth. Flawless Design trailing the field. Baked Spaghetti down the stretch they trot. Eckerd Hill Addy gate to wire for Drew Neal. .203 3/5 the winning time.
So 29 and 1 last quarter, not bad. 2-year-old trotting fillies. So, yeah, Tommy McRoberts trains out of the Hilltopper barn. Thank you, Jolynn. I need to see. All we gotta do is say something on the air, and somebody will answer.
So
it.
many people. It's quite amazing. I think of somebody like Jay Wolf or Tom Pye even, and how people just know and can store things. It amazes me. It amazes me that you can say, oh, you know, this and this and this, and they'll pop right off, and they know the answer. So thank you for those who are tuning in and always have answers for us. We appreciate it more than you probably know.
Speaking of old timers, Charlie Schoonover watching from Virginia. Charlie was a regular down here in the Southern Valley Circuit back in the day and drove some nice horses. So I remember him very well. So we had Eckerd Hill, gate to wire. Doodlebug tried him at the 3/4 pole and just couldn't get around. I was kind of hoping Barney would win, because that way I could see if he's wearing shoes or not. Barney, seriously, he does not wear shoes.
I believe you, because oh my gosh. I'm going to, well, we'll talk about it in just a moment.
Southern Valley Colt Circuit. 2-year-old filly trot for $6,080, sponsored by Kentucky Machinery LLC. Here's the 3, Eckerd Hill Addy. The 2-year-old bay filly by Triumphant Caviar. Out of the Muscles Mass Mare, Carry the Torch. On Heartland Acres, Rosie Weaver, Gabby D LLC. Rosie Weaver trains. Drew Neal drives the winner, Eckerd Hill Addy. Lifetime mark, first career win, 203 2/5. Eckerd Hill Addy, Drew Neal take the second division of the 2-year-old filly trot. She returns 440, 210, and 240. 3-2 exact to 1560. Quinella, $5.80.
Eckerd Hill Addy in the winner's circle. It's trainer Rosie Weaver. Is that her first for the day?
You know, it might be.
Yeah.
Official.
5. Number 2, Doodlebug to the 3, Eckerd Hill Addy, the winner. 4 was scratched. The 5, Plucky Pammy T, 3. Number 6 was scratched. The 7, Flawless Design, 4. The mile, 203 2/5. 30 and 4/5. 102 and 4. 134 and 2. 5, 2, 1. Scratch 3. Scratch 4 on the bottom. The winning time, 203 2/5. 7th race next. Field of 5. No changes in the 7th. Win, play, show. Quinella exact, a trifecta on the 7th race. Trifecta on race 7. Dragon's Better, Dragon Medicine, Stars Over Sydney. Rose Run Zach, Cruiser with Class, bring 'em right on.
All right, so there was our 6th race. That's second division for 2-year-old filly trotters. Went in 2:03 and 2. Eckert Hill Addie, and I do think that's Rosie's, which is a little bit of an anomaly because Rosie usually brings quite a few to the whatever race, whatever track she's at that day, and is one that hits the winner circle often.
All right, 6 down, 5 to go. So we are over halfway there. 4 trains later. We're going to take a look at the 7th race here after we hear a few words from our sponsors.
The future is bright in Ohio. Ohio Sire Stakes, Buckeye Stallion Series, 66 county and independent fairs. Whether it's the Ohio Sire Stakes, the Buckeye Stallion Series, or the county fairs, Ohio has a place for your racehorse. This year, Ohio breds are racing for nearly $23 million in stakes purses. Be part of the winning. Breed, buy, race, win in Ohio.
Volstead, Coach K Hanover, Slay. Ohio's top trotters stand at Dublin Valley Farms. Volstead's offspring include Sugar Instead, the 2023 Ohio 2-year-old Trotting Filly of the Year, and 2024 Ohio Sire Stakes winner Jurassic Hattie. Coach K Hanover, the son of world record holder Walner, and Slay, the son of Chapter 7, standing his first season at Dublin Valley Farms.
Back here for race number 7 at the Pike County Fair. Piketon, Ohio, 3-year-old Colton Gelding Pace, second division. Purse of $4,164. Trophy by Brew Brothers Trucking. We've got a field of 5 in here. Nice little field here. So, as Mike always said, we got some speed in this race.
So if we flip back, so this is our second division. What did our first division go in? Would have been race number 3. Oh, this was that quick mile, that sub 2 minute. So our first division for 3-year-old Colt Pacers went in 1:57 and 1, and that was Alex Hawk and hard for one guy. So I guess we'll see who gets it done. If it's going to be the first, second, or I believe there's a third division as well.
Yep. So plenty of 3-year-old pacing colts here today.
Plenty of 3-year-old pacing colts around the around the country.
No, quick story on Carl Harness, Rodney Harness's grandfather. Carl was trained here for years, and this is back when they had a hub rail here. Dad had a 3-year-old trotting filly in, never made a break as a 2 or 3-year-old. Comes here, Dad's on the lead, Carl's outside of him. He bounces him off the hub rail a few times in the last turn. Top of the stretch, Dad's filly runs because Carl comes down into him, knocks her off her feet. So Dad just let her run up the stretch. They was up by, 15 or 20 on the rest of the field. He pulls her up, gets her back trotting right before the wire. Carl files an objection. Said he let her run too far, all the way up the stretch. So when they go to the starting gate, and Dad tells him, yeah, I did, because he knocked me off my feet. So they left him up. So when Dad comes back over here to the winner's circle, the grandstand booed him.
Oh, no.
Yes, because he was home. Carl Harness being the hometown favorite. And they knew he filed the objection, and they left Dad up, and he got booed. I'm like, ooh. And I was in junior high at the time. So I'm like, what in the world's going on?
So we do still have a nice crowd here for our races. Not a bad one. It's always nice, I feel like we hear so much like, oh, our industry's dying, and I really have such hard opinions on that because constantly saying our industry is dying is not going to help our industry.
No.
no matter which way you're going to look at it. There are plenty of young folk. I mean, Drew Neal, we just saw him win a race there. I mean, Alex Hawk is young. There are so many young people in this industry that don't want to be without it.
Right.
And so with that, though, and our crowds are still here. They go to your county fairs. Sure, it's probably not what it was in the 80s. I will say that. I hear stories about Scioto Downs and how you could not find even a blank spot to sit on the apron. I can recognize that it changed, but we're still here, and we're not quiet. We are still here, and we are still strong, and there are plenty of people who are still making a living just doing this industry and this industry only. I think we are mostly out.
So, checking comments on Facebook there, but let's go through the field. 3-year-old Colton Gelding Pace, number 1, Dragon's Better. Timmy Deaton's going to be in the bike for trainer Steve Carter, Adam Friedland, William Lindsay, that's Ben Lindsay, and T.W. Carsey own the Fear of the Dragon Gelding out of Better Than Cheddarmere, Better Than Graduate. 10 starts this year, 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. Over $14,000 in the bank, took a qualifying mark at Miami Valley at 55 and some change. And I always say some change because I can't see the small print. Sorry, people. Washington Courthouse last week. Gate to wire, 2 minutes, 2/5 with Timmy in the bike. Last year as a 2-year-old, made $51,000 out of 14 starts. Took a mark at 53 and 1 at Scioto.
Dragon Medicine is our 2-horse. Alex Hawk drives for Earl Owens. This is a 3-year-old gelding by Fear the Dragon. Last start out at Washington Courthouse, did end up second in 2:01 and 4. Last quarter in 28 and 3, so nothing to shy away from. This little horse was a couple years ago now, was a $19,000 purchase from the Ohio Select and already has made $53,000 lifetime. So not a bad investment, not a bad return on that investment. So had a mark earlier this year in 155 flat made at Scioto Downs. Has 9 starts on the year. 3 of those have been wins with 1 second place finish.
So we're going to turn it up to Doug for the post parade, and then we'll continue filling you in as train number 5 goes by. There's your 3.
Horses are on the track for the 7th race, 2nd division. 3-year-old Colton Gelding Pace for $4,164. Brew Brothers Truckee Blanket upfield of 5. And these are the horses. Number 1 is Dragon's Better, driven by Tim Deaton. Number 2 is Dragon Medicine, the driver Alex Hawk. Mark St. Louis Jr. drives the 3 Stars over Sydney. Number 4 is Rose Run Zach with Derek Wadiker. And rounding out the field, here's the 5, Cruiser with Class, Charles Neff in the sulky. Win Play Show, Exacta Quinella. Trifecta on the 7th. Field of 5 will reach the gate in less than 4 minutes.
So the 3 Stars over Sydney, Mark St. Louis in the bike. 4, trainer Brett Swartz, co-owns with Brian Larrick, Dylan Fagan. Yankee Cruiser Gelding out of the 4 Stars Shark Mare Megastar. 10 starts this year, 3 wins, 2 seconds and a third. 6 out of 10 on the board ain't bad for a little over $19,000. Took a mark of 2-1, some change over at Hilliard. Is coming on a 2-race win streak. Won the last 3 out of 4, Circleville, Wilmington, and Hilliard.
The 4-horse Derek Wadiker trains and drives Rose Run Zach. This is a 3-year-old by the Ponderosa. Last start out was second at Mount Vernon in 2 minutes, 4/5. Has had 8 seasonal starts, 1 win, 1 second, 1 third, and has made almost $17,000 lifetime. This horse does have our fastest mark of the entire field set at Scioto Downs earlier this year in 154 flat.
Rounding out the field, Cruiser with Class, Charlie Neff owns Trains Drive, the Yankee Cruiser Colt. Out of the Ponderosa Mare, classy but sassy. 10 starts, 2 wins, 3 seconds, and a third. 28,000 in the bank. Took a mark of 55-2 at Scioto. Coming off of a win at Mount Vernon. And won that Scioto race 3 starts back. 4th start on Lasix for Cruiser with Class. So we've got a good field here. A lot of good records here, 55 and 54s across the board for the most part. So we got 5 on the gate. Mike Wapkenberg's got them in. We're going to turn it over to Doug.
Gelding Pace for $4,164. Sponsored by Brewer Brothers Trucking, a field of 5. Starter Mike Wapkenberg has them all lined up and ready for a start, and here they come. They were off and pacing the far outside. Cruiser with Class up the inside. Dragons are better. Dragon Medicine and Stars over Sydney as they race into the turn. Going on over to the opening 8. Trailing the field, Rose Run Zach by the opening 8th and onto the backside. Tim Deaton, Dragons are better, lead them by 2. Cruiser with Class will get that 2-hole trip. Up on the outside, Stars over Sydney is 3rd. Moving to the outside, Rose Run Zach 4th. And trailing the field, Dragon Medicine 5th and last. Straight alignment going to the opening quarter. Dragons better has the lead. Do an opening quarter and an even 29 seconds. Second, Cruiser with Class racing 3rd. Rose Run Zach, Stars over Sydney. And trailing the field around the turn. Dragon Medicine into the lane first time. Coming on over to the halfway point. Showing away. Tim Deaton, Dragons are better. 3-year-old Big Yellow Son of Fear the Dragon. Cruiser with Class right there second. Racing 3rd. Stars over Sydney comes to the outside. Rose Run Zach 4th. Moving to the outside. Dragon Medicine halfway home 58-2. Into the turn to the 5/8 they go. Dragons better has the lead by a length on the outside. Stars over Sydney the inside. It's Cruiser with Class racing 3 wide on the outside. Rose Run Zach coming after that leader with every stride. Rose Run Zach was 4th, now 3rd, now 2nd up the inside. Dragon Medicine are into the far turn. Dragons better leads the way. 3/4, 128-4. Around the turn, Dragon Medicine has them by a length. But here comes Rose Run Zach with every stride. Cruiser with Class on the outside. Dragon Medicine down the stretch they come. Dragons better on the outside. Rose Run Zach, grandstand side. Cruiser with Class with a late rush. On the line, Rose Run Zach. 1:58.
158. I'd say Doug called it. It sounded like Rose Run Zach. That was tight.
Yes.
That was tight at the wire. Great drive. Great driving in general. Both Derek Whitaker and Mark St. Louis.
At the 3/4 pole, or heading to the 3/4 pole, there was 3 lengths from the leader to the last place horse. We had him 3 wide. Big move by Derek down the backside. Actually, he was 3 wide before the 5/8.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mark St. Louis pulled, come first up. And
Cruiser with Class 3rd-1. Dragons better for 5-1 is unofficial.
when they left the gate here, 4 of them was leaving, and I thought, oh, this could get interesting in the first turn. They kind of got sorted out fairly quickly, and Timmy started dragging the brakes, quarter and 29, and once they got to quarter 29 and nobody came at them, I thought, they're not going to touch that 57 mark.
I believe it was our 2-horse. Alex Hawk made a break, which was...
Uh-oh.
The 3 Stars over Sydney for possible interference. Hold all tickets, please.
Okay, so...
Derek Whitaker, Mark St. Louis Jr. Go to Mike Wepkenberg, the starting gate, right away.
So
Derek Whitaker,
Mark
St. Louis Jr. to the starting gate to call judges stand right away. Hold all tickets, please.
Okay, so you guys caught the tail end of that as Derek was coming back over. So there is an inquiry against our winner, so we do not have official results. It sounded like the inquiry was put on by the 3 stars over Sydney.
Who made a break down the backside when they was all 3 wide there, so Tony just may want to just take a look at that, see, make sure everything was okay. And
we have seen quite a few, well, more inquiries than I have at my past handful of fairs, I will say. Do we think it's because this track is so just close?
Yeah, probably.
You know, as a driver, you're trying to do your best too, but there's just so much. There's only so much to work with.
Right. Yep. So we'll let them sort that out.
It is, well, they were getting ready to present the trophy fly sheet. It's pretty cool. They do have their county fair royalty tonight, and that is who has been presenting all night long. I'm not sure. I can't see that far away. I'm not sure if it is the king and queen, or it might be, horse specific 4-H royalty. I cannot tell, but very cool that we have quite a few youngsters out here.
And I wonder if Mike's got them in the starting gate yet.
Good question. I don't know. Usually Mike will tune in too. So Mike, if you're listening, that would be that he is great at that, especially that age. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
The age that are presenting.
And then what OHHA does is going to the FFA conventions and all that, and taking the simulator. Which, have you sat in a simulator yet?
I work that thing.
Do you? I have not did that yet. So yeah, if any of those you know what we're talking about, the OHHA has a race bike that they take to all the conventions and things like that, the state fair, and they set it up, and you put on a set of virtual reality goggles, and you drive a race, I'm going to assume?
Yep. So it is, we call it virtual reality, but really it is just a 3D experience. So it is a pre-recorded race. We like to put lines in hands regardless, and you can move around, but you aren't actually doing the quote-unquote driving. But it is so cool. We have Roger Houston voices it.
Okay.
It was a mock race up at Northfield Park, and it puts you, it's the coolest thing. It just puts you right in the action. You look all the way behind you, have a horse on your helmet, you've got horses coming beside you. It's a really cool experience, especially for that age group, which I'm going to sound like I'm trying to age myself. I'm not that far removed, but that's, the kids that we're targeting grew up with VR, and they're so familiar with it. So to give them something just a little bit different, they love it and they eat it up.
Yeah. Now there's a video on YouTube if you want to look it up. It's Wiggle It, Jiggle It over at the Dayton Derby, and Montrell had one of those 360 cameras on his bike.
Yep.
And like at work and stuff, I always show people that, and the horse right up breathing down his neck and stuff, and
there is nothing like it. There is really nothing like it. Even just being in the starting gate, kind of wrapping into a full circle of how we got on this. The starting gate is just a totally different experience. When we do our charity nights, OHJ does our charity nights, we let at least one person from each charity into the starting gate, and they come out, we're like, take your phones with you, take your phones, and they come out of that gate, and their minds are just blown. Because you're hearing the drivers, you're hearing the horses, and you can't help but to feel the adrenaline.
And a couple people I got in starting, that's one thing they said was the sound of it was so much different.
You can't describe it.
No.
You cannot describe it until you're smack in the middle of it. And I've never driven a race, probably never will, but I can't even imagine what that feels like, especially a big one. We're talking about the jug, the Adios, any of it. Yeah. The Hambletonian that is right around the corner. The pressure, I'm sure that these guys feel both driving and training. I want to throw up even when I see one of my mom's horse on a county fair track, let alone at a race like that.
Yep. And yeah, when my colt races and I'm not driving him, you can feel your heartbeat in your chest, and you're like, okay, here we go, and because it's out of your control. But yeah, and I think the drivers are kind of more because they drive so much.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of hop. You're constantly hopping on and off, that those nerves, I'm sure, settle for at least your normal, everyday stuff. All right, so our judges are popping back down to rewatch some video on that inquiry, and it sounded like while we were talking, they may have changed their minds. As far was the inquiry against the 5? 3 against 5. All right, so we had announced it originally. Doug had let us know that we thought the winner, the inquiry was against the winner, Rose Run Zach. It does not sound that way currently. Of course, we are not official, but the inquiry currently is the 3 Stars Over Sydney against the 5 Cruiser with Class. And our judges are reviewing that video now. We can take a moment and give a big shout out. I know every fair that I have been on, doesn't matter the co-host that I have, we have, you know, talked about how many people it truly takes to get this, any fair, get these fairs to the track and keep on going year after year. So we will give a quick and big thank you. So our speed superintendent here at Pike County is Carla Salisbury. Presiding judge is Tony Bragano. Race secretary and charter is Rod Newhart. Photo finish is Lynn Scott. Our photography is Winter Pictures. And our starter, of course, we have mentioned is Mike Webkenberg, as well as our announcer, Doug Ballinger. Talk about some people on the road. I know we've had a couple of comments in the past about there's a lot of logistics, and you know OHHA is here, there, and everywhere, but so are our photographers, so are the announcers, and of course the starter as well. Gonna hop on over. Say we also, while I'm sure there are plenty that are tuned in with us right now that also have our live stream of the Summit County Fair, which is at Northfield Park tonight. They have a giant race card. We only have 11 here. We just finished up. We're trying to finish up and make official our 7th race, but I'm sure Northfield or somewhere similar. If I go over to the Facebook, give me just a moment. And it looks like Northfield as well just finished up their 7th race. So we are pretty neck and neck, but if you hop over there, they will go longer than us because they have 20 on the card. So if you just can't get enough of it, Matt Clark, so normally the one behind the camera, Matt Clark and Jay Wolf are up at Northfield tonight. So I'm sure that is a fantastic broadcast. I'm sure I am missing out on quite a bit with Jay and Matt. Matt, again, usually runs the camera. He is not one that loves to be on the mic. Actually, just a couple weeks ago, he said, I hope I don't have to do it the rest of the season. And boom, I guess he spoke too soon because he is up there tonight kind of giving Jay some relief with that many races. All right, so if you are just tuning in, we still are waiting for that official of the 7th race, 2nd division for 3-year-old Colt Pacers. We do have an inquiry. It is the 3 against the 5, so does not affect our winner, Rose Run Zach. I think that was just a mispronunciation from Doug early on, so that is not against our winner, Rose Run Zach. It is against our 5 horse. Judges are currently reviewing our video to try to help them make that call, make that final official.
Well, we know something happened. I just don't know what it is. I don't know. I can't tell you who did what. You can't tell because you can't see it.
If you would like to, I know we are quite a ways into our card. We are over halfway, but if you would like to follow along with us this evening as we talk about these horses and introduce and get a little bit deeper into their lines and their past performances, you can head on over to harnessracingohio.com. So you can find us at the Piketon County Fair, and that program is available to you for free. Any of those programs are. So if you have a fair in particular that you want to give it a go and learn more about what we're talking about, those programs are generally posted and go live for you to download or just take a look at about an hour before we go to post. Any fair goes to post. So head on over there if you would like to take a deeper look.
I think without printing them off, what some people are doing, because it's easier, they throw YouTube up on their smart TV and put the program on their computer. And that way they can watch the races and look at the program at the same time. So Tony was looking at the action on the backside there, and they were discussing what may or may not have happened. And so we'll make a decision here, and we'll get the 8th race out for you. So you've never driven in a race?
There we go. I'll answer that question. We'll go to Doug real quick.
The second, the One Dragons are better third.
I thought he was going to give us a rundown. It sounded like they were trying to go official. Okay, well.
After further review, their judge could not determine any interference. The 5 Cruiserweight class against the 3 Stars over Sydney, so the objection is disallowed. Here's the way they finished. 1 Dragons better 3, 2 Dragon Medicine 4, 3 Stars over Sydney 5, 4 Rose Run Zach the winner, 5 Cruiserweight class 2, 1:58 the winning time, 29 for the quarter, the half 58 and 2, 3 quarters 1:28 and 4, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2 on the bottom. The winner, the 1 Rose Run Zach, 3-year-old bay go to the son of the Ponderosa out of the American Native Mare. And G's Delight, Whitaker Racing of Zanesville owns. Derek Whitaker trains and drives the winner. Derek Whitaker's second of the season. Blanket by Brew Brothers Trucking to the 4, Rose Run Zach.
So there's our rundown for the 7th race. I don't think they're going to come back for the picture taking.
No, so he is done, and that horse is stripped, I'm sure.
Yeah. So we got the 8th race coming up. 2nd Division 3-year-old Colton Gelding Trot, sponsored by CR Quality Lawn Care. So we'll take a look at that here and get Ashley's version of her driving.
That's a way to think about it.
We'll take a look at those here after a few words from our sponsors.
Oh, not this thing.
Home to the most renowned week of racing in the United States, the Delaware County Fair needs no introduction among horsemen. The first fair was held in 1834 as a common exhibition of livestock and farm products. However, in 1946, the fair would be completely transformed by the creation of the Little Brown Jug. Local attorney Joe Neville and Hank Thompson, sports editor of the Delaware Gazette, changed the game of harness racing forever. Neville, concerned by the emphasis placed on trotters, turned towards showcasing pacers. Receiving its name through a newspaper contest, the initial Little Brown Jug had a purse of $35,000 and was won by Ensign Hanover, with Delaware's Curly Smart driving. 27,000 people watched the inaugural race. Today, record attendance stands at 56,000 spectators. The Little Brown Jug is the final leg for the Pacing Triple Crown. Both the Jug and Jugette are the last Grand Circuit races to go multiple heats in one day. Delaware County Fair is a member of the Ohio Fair Racing Conference. They host 5 full days of the best and biggest county fair races.
They're often racing in the Southern Valley Colt Circuit. Catch the excitement of Ohio harness racing at one of the county fairs in the Southern Valley Colt Circuit. For over 150 years, people have gathered at county fairs to cheer on their favorite racehorses. Keep the tradition alive. Visit one of the 10 fairs in the Southern Valley Colt Circuit this summer. Horses, racing, and winning. It's the Southern Valley Colt Circuit. 10 great fairs in southeastern Ohio.
Back here for race 8 in Piketon, Ohio. What'd I say? We're up to 5 trains now?
I don't even know. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in and have not heard the train debacle, we have been debating the whole time. So this track, this fair is very small in general, and this one is just very unique because it, like Jeremy said earlier, it's up on a hill. If you go behind the race barns, it kind of drops into a grassy, we call it a valley, I guess, I don't know. But behind us, and I mean right behind us, I'm sure you can see it in a few of the shots, is a very well-used, well-loved railroad.
Susan keeps track of drivers and trainers and times and all that. We're keeping track of
but no, we are, while we wait, we are going to head into the 8th race. But no, so I have not driven a horse. I do not have my license to be a driver. And I probably never will. There was definitely a time in my life I was interested, but my come up around harness horses, I feel, I don't want to say it's unique in any way, but maybe a little bit different than some of my peers that have, parents that train. So I was in the barn plenty, but I don't want to say they pushed me, but I found a love for riding horses. I know. Judge me.
No.
I rodeoed when I was younger and all the way through school, and stopped when I was in college when I kind of stepped away. I still have riding horses, but it's for fun. I just trail ride and things like that. Spent plenty of time in the racehorse barn and have been behind numerous horses, but my mom was always a little timid. My dad and I used to have to sneak around. That's how I first started jogging. Was he would put me on his lap right when I was really little, and then we would sneak around and he would throw me on one when maybe mom wasn't at the barn or was turned the other direction. So I've been behind horses, but my mom at the end of the day just wanted to keep me safe. There's not just rodeo, there's one horse in the pen. I've been in very grateful, but I've been in a handful of accidents that had never turned bad versus, here we've got 5, 6, 7 horses, and that's a small field. So I think at the end of the day, my mom just was a little overcautious, and I understand why as I grow up. But because of that, I don't know. I guess I probably will never drive. I don't know.
It's a rush, adrenaline rush, and like.
Don't tell me that. I'm an adrenaline junkie.
It is. But, your nerves and everything, because as soon as you get behind the gate, nerves go away. For somebody that doesn't like me, that doesn't drive a whole lot. And that when I was in high school, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to drive racehorses. My Uncle Keith was in it. He kept me in it. Dad got us started. But then I realized I wasn't very good. So
that's
Frank,
okay. That's why we're sitting here.
Yes.
And No, I feel like, and again, I go back to the riding horse side of things. I wanted to train, but I wanted to go west and train horses. That was a small part of my life before I moved. I did live out west for a while. I lived in Colorado and Idaho and did my thing and learned quite a bit in the horse industry out there. But it came back, and this job kept me here, and then just really grew the love that was always there, but now it's like just enthralled with the harness racing.
Yes. So back to harness racing here at Piketon. Let's go through the field for the 8th. Number 1, John Lemon, Ty Van Roden drives trains, co-owns with Scott Rooks. What the Hill Gelding out of Credit Winner, Fruition. 8 starts this year, got a third, a little over $2,400. Was racing at Scioto in the condition races, and going to try the fairs for a few times. And talked to Ty, and he thinks he might have his colt figured out. He had a little issue with braking there early on, but I think Ty got him squared around. He's been trotting the last few starts.
Derek Wadaker drives a 2 VH Willie Wonka Tim Van Horn trains this 3-year-old by Big Chocolate. Last start out at Mount Vernon did finish at a distance, but one back from that at Carrollton. Did have a third place finish in 2:06 and 2, and I'm going to throw it up to Doug for that post parade.
Colton Gelding Trot, Southern Valley Colt Circuit Stake. This division 5,975. Sponsored by CR Quality Lawn Care. These are the horses. Number 1, John Lemon. The driver, Ty Van Roden. Number 2, VH Willy Wonka. Derek Whitaker drives. The 3, Tommy with Tommy Dawson. Number 4, Della Grande, Alex Hawk. The 5, Jurassic Justice with Michael Lowe. And number 6, Cousin Van, Tim Deaton in the sulky. Win play show. Exact Quinella wagering. They're going to the gate in 4 minutes. Don't be shut out.
The 3, Tommy with Tommy Dawson. For trainer owner Mary Dawson, along Tom Gelding, Master Levesque mare Katie. 10 starts this year, 2/3, a little over $3,300. Made a couple breaks last time out, so let's see if Tommy can get him squared away.
Charles Vigneron trains. The 4, Della Grande, Alex Hawk, will be in the bike coming off of a 6 scratch from Wilmington. However, did start back on June 26th. Not here in Ohio, but before that had a start on June 14th at Scioto Downs in a BSS leg. Started from the 10 hole, so it was a trailer. Had a little bit of luck. Looks like got into some bad luck. Looks like they got into some traffic, but still went ahead and trotted a mile and won 58 and 3. 8 starts on the year, still looking for that first seasonal win. However, 22 lifetime starts, 5 wins, 4 seconds, 2 third place finishes, to bankroll about $30,000.
The 5, Jurassic Justice for trainer, driver, co-owner Mike Lowe. Co-owns with Jerry Welch, Volstead Gelding, out of Like Prayer Mare Van Paul. 5 starts this year, 2 wins, a second, a third, over $11,000. Took a mark at 56 in the piece at Scioto. A second last week at Mount Vernon. Went gate to wire at Wellston, and I still say he needs to see the judges about that second quarter. And rounding them out,
we have the 6. So the 6 is our trailer. Tim Deaton will drive. Cousin Van, Tammy Hartman trains this 3-year-old by Uncle Peter. Last start at Washington Courthouse, ended up 3rd last quarter in 28 and 3. Final mile in 2:04 and 3. 11 starts on the year. 2 of those have been wins, and those did come back in June. So realistically, not that long ago at all. First win, well, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starts back. That win at Scioto Downs came in 157 and 4, $17,000 made lifetime. So here we go. This is our field of 6 for the second division of 3-year-old colt trotters.
Up and trotting, Jurassic Justice goes for the lead from the inside. John Lemon, PH Billy Wonka, Tommy on the outside. Field of trotters moving to the turn. Racing on over to the opening quarter, and on top of the field, showing the way, Jurassic Justice. Michael Lowe lead the way by 2. John Levin will take that 2-hole trip. VH Billy Wonka 3rd, 4th Tommy. 5th is Cousin Van, and trailing the field up the backside, Della Grande. Straight alignment on the front end, the leader. Jurassic Justice by a length. John Lemon next in second. VH Willy Wonka third. Chummy fourth. Cousin Van fifth. Della Grande trails the field. Opening panel 30 3/5. Round the turn to the 3/8 they trot. The leader, Jurassic Justice, looking for 3 in a row. As he passed the stand for the first time, John Lemon is next. Third at the halfway point, VH Willy Wonka. Tommy next. Moving to the outside, Cousin Van. Della Grande's the traitor. The half 102 1/5. Into the turn they trot on over to the 5/8 mark, showing away. Jurassic Justice by a length. Moving on the outside. Now second and coming after that leader, VH Willy Wonka. Locked in third, John Lemon. Moving to the outside, Cousin Van fourth. Inside fifth, Tommy. Della Grande trails. Midpoint of the backside. Jurassic Justice will guide him into the far turn with a length and a half lead. John Lemon on the inside. 3 wide, Cousin Van. 3/4, 133 4. Around the far turn with the lead. Jurassic Justice by 3 at the top of the stretch. Cousin Van on the outside. John Lemon is third. Tommy is fourth. They're off the turn. They're on their way home. Jurassic Justice. Cousin Van on the outside. Jurassic Justice. Michael Lowe take the second division of the 3-year-old colt and gelding trot. 2 3/5.
So the judge, Mike Lowe, gate to wire. After getting a nice second quarter breather.
Yeah, I was going to say, Cousin Van definitely had some trot left, but with those quarters, you can't touch them.
No. And that's why when I was going through it real quick down at Miami Valley, Mike had Father Time in a couple starts, got to the front, back to second quarter down pretty good. And second week, and they fined him. So over at Wellston there, I jumped in the winner's circle with him because I didn't know if he had any help or not. And I told him, I said, hey, Mike, judge wants to talk to you about that slow second
You
quarter.
giving him a hard time.
Oh, I was. He goes, all right, hey, it was just a fair. They don't care.
All right, so he should be unofficially our winner. The 5, Jurassic Justice, will make his way back in front of the stands for that win photo. We do have a nice golf cart transporting people to and fro. There's a little bit. Well, he maybe have some help tonight.
He does.
There are quite a few people there.
Yep. Young lady in the black T-shirt. He helps him out now. Does the barn work for him, and Mike's got a big farm, a lot of cattle and stuff. Also, whether being a judge and an attorney, she helps him out quite a bit at the farm and stuff. And he told me her name. I can't remember. Then you have Steve and Diane Baker there. Very nice people from over that area. They've helped Mike out quite a bit also. They had one in earlier today. I think they won, if I remember right. So
Well, I guess we could always flip back in the program, right?
Yeah,
But here we go, though. Michael Lowe is coming back in front of the stands.
Pretty orange harness. They give him a hard
Can't
time
say you
about.
can't miss it. Can't miss it. That was something that my dad, he would only use black. Only.
Yep.
Don't bring anything red. Don't bring anything blue. Definitely bright.
Not like today's horses.
I say, but there's, I think, pink jammies. You know, I like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yep.
Stands. Here's your winner of the 8th race. This is the second division of the 3-year-old colt and gelding trot for $5,975. Number 5, Jurassic Justice. The 3-year-old bay goat, the son of Allstead, out of the Like a Prayer mare. Vamp Hall, third of the season for Jurassic Justice. Home of Michael Welch, Michael Lowe. Michael Lowe trains and drives the winner home, 202 3/5. This race sponsored by CR Quality Lawn Care. Here's the way they finished the 8. Number 1, John Lemon. 3, 2, VH Willy Wonka. 5, the 3, Tommy. 4, Della Grande. 6, the 5, Jurassic Justice, the winner. Number 6, Cousin Van. 2, winning time 202 3/5. 30 3/5, 102 1, 133 4. Top down 354 612 on the bottom. Ninth race. When play show, Quinell Exacta. The 3, Legend of the Indian, make the driver Tim Deaton. Tim Deaton to drive the 3, Legend of the Indian. Lost in the Night, Fear Miss America, Legend of the Indian, JL Star, Cruiser, Miami Vice, Miss Dragon. We need 6 horses for the 9th race. Post time tomorrow here at the Pike County Fair at 12 noon. Post time at noon with 9 races. Post time at noon. Join us tomorrow for another great day of harness racing here at the Pike County Fair. Bring them right on for the 9th.
So Mike was going back to the barn with the earplug still in.
I didn't even notice that. Didn't even notice. So, yeah.
So, yeah. I think
Couldn't even touch them off those quarters and really didn't even pop the plugs.
Nope. So, we got 8 down, 3 to go. Let's take a quick break here and hear from our sponsors. 2 or 3 of them.
For over 50 years, Midland Acres has provided top-quality Ohio-bred colts and fillies. As a third-generation farm, we understand the importance of delivering well-cared-for and well-mannered yearlings. Get in the winner's circle with the yearlings by Fear the Dragon, Yankee Cruiser, Long Tom, Summa Cum Laude, Ready for Moni, and Bit of a Legend. See our yearlings at the Blooded Horse Sale August 27th and the Ohio Select Sale September 15th.
Own a little and love it a lot. The Stable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. The Stable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
We are back. You are joining myself, Ashley, and Jeremy Moore this evening for day 1 of the Pike County Fair here in Piketon. This fair is a member of the Southern Valley Colt Circuit. So this is one of just a few fairs I have been down this way for, and it has been a great experience so far. We have had a couple sub 2 mile times, really coming from our 3-year-old colt pacers, I think, has been who is breaking that. We'll give you a little refresher. So our track records here for the pace was set in 2021 by Peculiar Rock in 1:55.3, and the trot is 1:59.4, set in 2019 by Insomniac. So that is what we are gunning for. We were getting there. I don't think we're going to be touching it today, but there's always tomorrow, like Doug said. So I will be back here. Jeremy's going to be racing, so if you like listening to Jeremy and you want to see his horse go tomorrow, he'll be here. But I will be on the broadcast tomorrow, as well as Trish Soulsby, and we are going to bring you, I believe it's 8 or 9 races tomorrow, and post time is noon, so a little bit earlier than this evening.
Yep, means I got to get up in the morning.
Sorry about that.
I know, that's about what time I'm usually going to bed.
So I wanted to bring that up while we're waiting for this next race to all come out. What do people know what you do for a living, and how? I don't know how you handle this schedule.
Some do, some don't. I am a deputy sheriff. I work 6P to 6A. We work 12-hour shifts, which is good because if you work 8s in 2 weeks, you work 10 days. Well, I work 7 days. So I get every other weekend off and days during the week off, but we've been having to work 16-hour shifts due to staffing.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I'll go in at 2 in the afternoon, get off at 6 next morning, go to the barns, get Junior done, go home, lay down for 3 or 4 hours, and then get back up and do it again.
How in the world?
Thank
you for what you do, by all means, and then you're putting this, you've been on a handful of broadcasts too. You're still taking that consideration for travel time, for being on air. We get here early. We probably leave later than we really should.
Yep. And now, this past Monday, I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 16, 16, 12, and then went to Marysville for 11 o'clock post time. So thank you to my wife, Ellen. She drove me so I could take a nap on the way. We got back, and she went to go pick up the grandbaby. She said, "What time do you want up?" I'm like, "I don't." So, but I did. I slept for a few hours, got up, helped her with the grandbaby. But yeah, it's a passion. It's in my blood. I love doing it. The job and this. So it's. I know Ashley, when she was working at Dayton Raceway there, I'd pop in every now and then, give her a story. Cop
You
story.
would.
Yep.
You would.
Some I can't
forgot
say
about
over
that.
air, but yeah, there's always memorable stories in this stuff you just can't make up that I see.
But there we go. So there's a little bit about Jeremy, and we're going to roll right over to Doug to post parade the 9th.
The 9th race, 3rd division. 2-year-old filly pace for $4,479. Blanket by MJ Farms. Field of 6, Tim Deaton will drive number 3. Number 1 is Lost in the Night. David Young, the second, drives. Number 2, Fear Miss America. The driver, Alex Hawk. The 3, Legend of the Indian, with driver Tim Deaton. Number 4, JL Star Cruiser, Clayton Piper. 5, Miami Vice, Mark St. Louis Jr. And rounding out the field, number 6, Miss Dragon, Charles Bolin in her sulky. In place show, Gwinnett Exacta, going to the gate. In 3 minutes. Don't be shut out. Wager now. 3 minutes to post.
So the 1 Lost in the Night for David Young in the bike for trainer Steve Carter. Brent Hopper. Kyle Gray owns the Lost in Time filly. She's had 4 starts, 1 win, 1 second, 1 third. Winning last week over at Washington Courthouse.
Alex Hawk is going to get back in the bike for trainer Earl Owens. Fear Miss America. This is a 2-year-old filly by Fear the Dragon. 2 lifetime starts. Hasn't hit the board, so definitely still learning and figuring out. Was a $10,000 purchase from the Ohio Select Sale.
3, Legend of the Indian. Brian Haynes trains. Tim Deaton in the bike for Indian Springs Farm. Bit of a legend filly. She started over at Wellston, finishing 4th.
The 4 is driven by Clayton Pfeiffer. Dustin Pfeiffer trains the 2-year-old by Well Said. JL's Star Cruiser, another one with just 2 lifetime starts, hasn't hit the board, did make a break. Well, unfortunately did have early miscues in both of those lifetime starts, so I'm sure this is home track, right? So maybe we will have some home field advantage and get her flat around the mile.
The 5, Miami Vice, Mark St. Louis in the bike for trainer Brett Swartz. Co-owns with Dylan Fagan, Mitchell Bean. 4 starts, has a 3rd over at Hilliard. Last start, made a break at Washington Courthouse.
Larry 6 trains the 6. Miss Dragon, Charles Bolin will drive. 3 starts back at Wilmington. Did have a 3rd place finish in 2:05 and 2 last quarter and 30 and 3. 4 lifetime starts with just 1 time hitting that board in that 3rd place finish.
So 5 on the gate, 1 trailer here. We've got 2-1 favorite, Miami Vice for Mark St. Louis. So we're going to turn it up to Doug for the call of the 9th.
Rolling behind the Mike Wepkenberg starting gate. The gate swings into the stretch, and here they come. They're off in pacing, Lost in a Night from the inside. Fear Miss America. Far outside, JL Star Cruiser. Up the inside. Miss Dragon well placed from the second tier. Field of Pacers race around the turn. Coming out in fifth. Legend of the Indian and trailing the field. Miami Vice by the opening eighth and on to the backside. Lost in the Night has the lead. The Brown Filly by Lost in Time leads it by a length. 2-hole trip to JL Star Cruiser racing third on the opening quarter. Fear Miss America next in fourth. Miss Dragon, Tim Deaton and Legend of the Indian trailing the field. Miami Vice as they race around the turn. 29 4/5 for the opening quarter. Round the turn, Field of Pacers straight alignment. They follow the lead of Lost in the Night. Right there second, JL Star Cruiser racing third as they pass the stand for the first time. Fear Miss America coming on over to the half. Miss Dragon racing fourth, racing fifth. At the half, Legend of the Indian and Miami Vice can see them all. They're halfway home. Lost in the Night has the fillies at the half in a minute and 2/5. They're into the turn and heading to the 5H. Racing second, 2 off the lead is JL Star Cruiser. On to the backside they go, up the inside. Fear Miss America third, coming 3 wide on the outside. Miss Dragon up the inside. Legend of the Indian and far back trailing Miami Vice. On to the 3/4. Lost in the Night has them by 5 lengths. Miss Dragon on the outside. The inside JL Star Cruiser 3/4, 131-1. Around the far turn, Lost in the Night trying to take them all the way. Comes to the top of the stretch with a 5-length lead over Miss Dragon. Racing next, Fear Miss America. Legend of the Indian is fourth with less than 1/8 of a mile to pace. Lost in the Night with each and every stride has them by 5-6 lengths. Lost in the Night, Miss Dragon second. Fear Miss America will finish third. The mile 2:02.
Gate to wire. Lost in the Night, David Young.
That was a pretty brisk opening quarter for this group.
Yeah.
Just considering what we've been going all night, we've seen a lot of 30 and 2s. I know these are pacers, right? So going to be a touch different, but I thought that was a pretty nice opening quarter.
Mm-hmm. Still got to the half pretty good. Minute and some change.
I did not get the half. What is the half?
1 minute, 2/5.
1 minute, 2/5.
Then they started slowing down. Of course, nobody come at him, so.
You can.
Yeah, just kind of sit there and ride. And 3 wide move by Chucky with Miss Dragon, who she trained down early really well, and then she kind of fell apart a little bit. So Larry's daughter, Missy, she bought the filly back from her brother, little Larry. So they've had her back for a few weeks now, and trying to get her going back in the right direction. So
right. And sometimes, you bringing that up, sometimes it's you don't want to experience it. Sometimes that really just is the name of the game. Like we had a couple of trotting fillies that we really never thought were going to be like sire stake level horses, but we're going really, really good. And then we got closer and closer to the opening of the season, and they just kind of fell apart. And still just trying to figure it back out. That's part of learning. That's part, especially 2-year-olds, learning so many things. And the fairs are just the place to do it. The place to do it. And I even wanted to mention, I was surprised, like these babies do not care about these trains. I really thought we would, have at least a little bit of a shy away, but they've really been professionals on the track tonight. And here we have, I'm sure, there's Doug.
Race, third division of the 2-year-old filly pace. Number 1, Lost in the Night. She's a 2-year-old, a brown filly, but lost in time out of the Art Major mare. Lanate Hanover, Brett Hopper and Kyle Gray own. Steve Carter trains. David Young, the second, drives the winner. Lost in the Night, second of the season for the winner. Lifetime mark for Lost in the Night, home in 2:02. This race sponsored by MJ Farms. 162 is now official.
We will wait for the full rundown. Doug kind of gave us that.
Tonight, 420, 220, 240. Exact to 28.60. Quinella 5.60. Here's the way they finished the night. Number 1, Lost in the Night, the winner. 2, Fear Miss America 3. The 3, Legend of the Indian 4. 4, JL Star Cruiser 6, 5, Miami Vice 5, the 6 Miss Dragon 2, the winning time 2:02, 29 and 4, 1 minute 2/5, 1:31 and 1, 1, 3, 4, 6, 5, 2 on the bottom. 10th race coming up next, field of 5.
I always like to wonder
Place show.
how
Exacta trifecta on the 10th. Uncle Joe, MJ's Liberty Balance, Team Jesse, Kanawha, icing on the cupcake. We need 5. Bring them right on.
All right, so with that, I always like to wonder, I wonder if Doug knows how many races he has called, because Roger, mentored him. Roger knows how many races he has called and how many tracks, and I always wonder if Doug knows, because he's so good too. He's one of my favorites. But with that, so the one horse lost in the night takes our 9th in 2:02 flat. We are going to head over to our free-for-all trot. Next, we will introduce the field of 5 shortly.
Do you want your horse to shine in the winner's circle? Feed DAC oil. It makes a world of difference.
When you need supplies for your horse, one name stands out: Big D's. Since 1976, Big D's Tack and Vet Supply has been the equine experts you can trust. Whatever your horse needs is available at Big D's Tack and Vet Supply. Visit the retail outlet in Streetsboro, Ohio, or order online at bigdweb.com for fast shipping. Most orders ship that day. Or call 1-800-321-2142. Big D's Tack and Vet Supply.
All right, back here, 10th race coming up. The George Rittenauer Memorial Free.
He introduced us to his grandfather, who this memorial is named after, and tomorrow his dad has a memorial race. So they were just very integral to the Ohio, familiar with, because we're talking about over 100 years ago. But his grandfather was the president of that association for many, many, many years and brought racing to Pike County. And they still, have their hands in the industry. And I thought it was fun that he shared how he was involved as a little kid. He sold programs for 15 cents, if you remember correctly. And that's what we were telling our PJ, Tony. And Tony was remembering. And I guess I just never thought about it much. But Tony was saying he grew up in, the 60s. And he remembers the base of the bet was always $2. And the fact that it hasn't changed, even though some of our programs cost $3 at a county fair, where I've never put much stock into it before.
Nope, because $2 back then was a pretty good amount of money.
Yes.
So there was no, Barry Vickroy combinations, $26 ticket, and this and that. People probably want to play one ticket or two maybe each race.
I've never. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed over, just my short lifetime. That is very interesting.
Yep. So the free-for-all trotters here, 5 of them going to the gate. We have a couple youngins and we have a couple veterans. One veteran in here.
Back in November. So first start of the year was 7:13 at Wellston. Was in the money, just didn't hit the board. Ended up 4th in 2:06 and 3. This is really one that has had 168 lifetime starts. 4 of those have been wins and have hit the board quite a bit beyond that. $84,000 made.
And rounding out the field, icing the cupcake, Timmy Deaton for Ty Van Roden, who cones with Scott Rooks. So we'll flip it up to Doug and finish it out here in just a moment.
Like in memory of George W. Rittenauer. And these are the horses for the 10th. Number 1, Uncle Joe, the driver, Alex Hawk. Number 2 is MJ's Liberty Balance with Brady Clemens. The 3, Team Jesse, Alan Willems drives. Here's the 4, Kanawha with Bill Long Jr. And number 5, icing on the cupcake, Tim Deaton in the sulky. Win play show, exacta trifecta. Quinella wagering on the 10th. 4 minutes to post time, 4 minutes.
So icing the cupcake. Another DeJohn Bro, gelding. 24 starts this year. 1 win, 2 seconds, 4 thirds. Just shy of 21,000. Took a mark of 58 up at Scioto. Lifetime, he's had 223 starts, 20 wins, 20 seconds, 21 thirds, over 252,000. Took a mark out to the Meadowlands and 54 in a piece. So let's talk about the driver, the 4, Bill Long Jr.
I do want to talk about that because my eyes were deceiving me, so I'll let you say your piece.
Back in the bike after a few years. Great guy. Always got a smile on his face. And yeah, you can't say enough about Bill. I remember seeing him in videos in the 80s from Scioto. And I remember Channel 10 did a news story about a horse he was driving that loved Pepsi.
Oh.
Because that's when the Pepsi Coke challenge.
Yep.
You wasn't even born yet.
Well, I know what you're talking about, though.
That was the big thing. And so their thing was Star Legend was the horse's name. I sound like Tom Pye now.
Oh.
Remember all this stuff. He chose Pepsi over Coke. They tried a Coke bottle, and he turned his nose up, and they gave him a Pepsi bottle, and he drank it.
No, my eyes were kind of deceiving me. I had to check. So my uncle, Jeff, well, there's Jack, but Jeff, and I just saw, because I'm not familiar with Bill's colors, and I just saw that red stripe, and I was like, holy crap, is that Jack Daly that hasn't driven, at least hasn't driven for quite some time?
Nope, that's another old-timer. Who's driving for another old-timer, David Myers, who's been around for years. Keep calling them over old timers, but I'm not.
I would say, do you call yourself an old timer? Here you are on air calling everyone else.
I know. I'm in the middle.
But here we go. This is our George Rittenauer Memorial free-for-all trot, purse of $13.25, a field of 5. We are going to let Doug have it for the call.
Here they come. They're off and trotting. That's Uncle Joe out for the lead. MJ's Liberty Balance will take a tuck into the turn. Kanawha icing on the cupcake, and Team Jesse as they race into the opening turn. Uncle Joe, Alex Hawk by 2. MJ's Liberty Balance, Brady Clemens racing third. Kanawha and Bill Long Jr. down the backside, icing on the cupcake. Tim Deaton trailing up field. Team Jesse and Alan Willems straight alignment to the opening quarter. Uncle Joe carving out those fractions. MJ's Liberty Balance is second. Kanawha is next. Icing on the cupcake. 30 3/5 for the opening quarter. Team Jesse is the trailer 5th. As they race around the turn, it's Uncle Joe showing away by 2. MJ's Liberty Balance is second. Kanawha 3rd. Icing on the cupcake is 4th, and the trailer Team Jesse straight alignment as they come over to the half. They follow the lead of Uncle Joe and Alex Hack. MJ's Liberty Balance right there. Icing on the cupcake comes to the outside. That brings Team Jesse to the outside. The shuffle for Kanawha. Halfway home in 1 3/5. They're on the 5/8. It's still Uncle Joe leading the way. Up on the outside, icing on the cupcake. MJ's Liberty Balance nowhere to go. 3rd. Team Jesse 4th. Kanawha is 5th. They're off the turn. They're on the backside, front to back. They're separated by 4 lengths. Uncle Joe trying to fend off. Icing on the cupcake on the outside. MJ's Liberty Balance. Team Jesse. Kanawha is 5th. 3/4, 131 1. They're into the far turn, and Uncle Joe has had every call. He leads it by a length. Icing on the cupcake 2nd. MJ's Liberty Balance is 3rd. Team Jesse is 3 wide. They're off the turn. They're on their way home. It is Uncle Joe on the outside. Icing on the cupcake. MJ's Liberty Balance, but on the line, Uncle Joe. 2 minutes.
So another gate to wire, Uncle Joe with Alex Hawk. So that's a good race down the backside there. We had 3 in, 2 out. Alex said go, and last turn, and he went.
Say, nice to see Alex coming back to the winner's circle for trainer Earl Owens, because he does have quite a few mounts for Earl, and he had early in the card, he had a couple of tough goes. All right, so unofficial Doug just gave us 1-5-2, as I had written it across the wire, but kind of finishing my thought there. So Earl, he was a very good family friend, so always like to see him do some good as well.
Him and your dad like to hunt all the time,
Yeah,
didn't they?
yep. I remember we used to go down to Earl's. Oh my gosh, I was really young, just to go look and trade hunting dogs. That's what they did.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He also, was it Arbin? Did he? Was it Arbin? Am I crazy?
No.
Am I remembering?
Yeah.
It is. That
Earl's
he
got
was when he. Does he still have him?
Yes.
I thought he did, but man, when that horse first came on, was he a 2 or 3-year-old? Oh, he had a wicked season though.
Mhm.
He had a wicked season, and just was untouchable there for a moment at the pari-mutuels. Oh, and there he is. There he is, going to the winner's circle. And there is a nice crowd, I'm sure.
One of the 10th. The George Rittenhauer Memorial Free-for-All Trot, number 1, Uncle Joe. 8-year-old brown-gutted son of Uncle Peter out of the SJ's Photo Mare. Liz S. Lessius Shelby Cheadle, Londonderry, Ohio, Earl Owings trains. Alex Hawk gets his second winner on the card. Uncle Joe home in 2 minutes. This is the George Rittenhauer Memorial. Mr. Rittenhauer started the Ohio Trotters Association back in the day. It was a founder of bringing harness racing here to the Pike County Fair. The winner, 440, 260, 210, exact to 1380, Quinella 620, try 152, $23.60. Number 1, Uncle Joe, the winner. 2, MJ's Liberty Balance 3. The 3, Team Jesse 4. 4, Kanawha 5. The 5, Icing on the Cupcake 2. 2 minutes, the winning time, 30 3/5. 1 minute 3/5, 131 1. 13452 on the bottom. 11th and final coming up in about 10 minutes. Ronnie Gillespie to drive the 1, Legend of a King. Ron Gillespie, the 1, Legend of a King. Win place show. Quinella, exacta trifecta on the 11th. Legend of a King, Lucky Lad. No Jokes, folks, Colton's Charm. Better Maker and Bronx Drifter, bring them on. We need 6.
Those might have been some of the cheapest prices we've had, actually. Taking a look at the dope board, still not a bad night, I guess, if you put a few on to win. But we've actually had some decent prices.
We have, and it's somewhat common for fairs. Your place and show pay more than your win.
Yeah, that happened in our very first. I can't remember if I could flip back see who won. I think you paid like 4 times to show versus to win.
7 something to win, and then 20 something.
20, yep. Yep, sure thing. But there we go. So that was our 10th, our free-for-all trot taken by Uncle Joe. Alex Hawk in the bike for Earl Owens. We are up to our very final of the night. The 11th race is next, that 3rd and final division for 3-year-old Colt Pacers. A field of 6. We will see you back here shortly.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine, and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661. Volstead, Coach K. Hanover, Slay, Ohio's top trotters stand at Dublin Valley Farms. Volstead's offspring include Sugar Instead, the 2023 Ohio 2-year-old Trotting Filly of the Year, and 2024 Ohio Sire Stakes winner Jurassic Hattie. Coach K. Hanover, the son of world record holder Walner, and Slay, the son of Chapter 7, standing his first season at Dublin Valley Farms.
Welcome back. Here we are, Ashley and Jeremy, bringing you the 11th and final for the first day at the Pike County Fair in Piketon. Even though we are reaching an end tonight, please join us back here at 12 noon tomorrow. I will bring you the second and final race card here at Piketon.
Yep, I'm kind of looking ahead here real fast. Grab the Huff's Guide. So tomorrow's Piketon is the only day at the fairs here in Ohio, it looks like, maybe?
Tomorrow, yes, you are right, but then we pick right back up on Sunday.
Sunday, Eaton, post time, 1 o'clock. I think there's 20-some races over there.
There's 16,
16,
yep.
Okay.
I say Eaton is a little bit of a larger card because they only race one day.
Right. Bowling Green goes Sunday at noon up there. So catch those out. Then Bowling Green comes back Tuesday at 5 o'clock, evening post time. Then Monday, you got Lisbon, 1 o'clock post time. Lisbon Tuesday, 1 o'clock post time. Wapakoneta Tuesday, Wednesday, and Xenia Wednesday, Thursday. So we're kind of in the heart of fair season right now, and you guys are spread out a little bit now, aren't you?
Yeah, to say the least. But it's always fun. It's always exciting. And just like saying that this is my first time at Piketon, I really look forward to spreading out, though, to just go to more and more and more racetracks.
Yep. Because the first time you worked for OHHA, you didn't get to do this a whole lot, did you?
I did. I think, which I understood, I was a whopping 22 fresh out of, they didn't know me from anybody. I really didn't start fair broadcast until like August, and they gave me a go, and they're like, wait a minute, she might be able to talk on a mic. Let's keep on sending her.
Yes, women can talk on a mic.
Shut up. Oh, but I say, Mark, I'm sure Mark's still on, Mark Reinhardt, was giving me crap. What fair was it? He's like, I got to shut Ashley up. I'm like, man. All fun, though. All fun.
Oh, yeah. But, yep. All right. Last race. Third division, 3-year-old Pacing Colts. Purse of $4,164. We got a field of 6 in here. The one, Legend of a King, Ronnie Gillespie's going to drive for trainer-owner Sean Mayhew. 3 starts this year, no starts last year. Let's flip it up to Doug for the post parade.
$64. First National Bank of Waverly Blanket, Ronnie Gillespie to drive the 1. And these are the horses for the 11th race. Number 1 is Legend of a King, Ronnie Gillespie drives. Number 2 is Lucky Lad, Brady Clemens, the driver. 3, No Joke Folks, with John Renard. Number 5 is Buttermaker, Dylan Fagan. Here's a 6, Bronx Drifter, with David Young the second. And number 4, Colton's Charm, Christian Myers in the sulky. When play show, exacta Quinella, trifecta, 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Wager now. Don't be shut out. 4 minutes to post.
All right. Well, we were a little out of order for that post parade. But would you like to finish your thoughts on the 1?
No, go ahead.
All right.
Not much else to talk about. Didn't start last year. Only a few starts this year.
So here we go. The 2, Brady Clemens will drive Lucky Lad for Eric Nesselrode. This is a 3-year-old by Western Vintage. 2 starts back. June 25th at Scioto was in a non-winners of 1 with a claiming tag and won that race. Final quarter in 28-2. Paced the mile in 1:56.4. So 10 lifetime starts. That was the gelding's very first win and has made $8,400 lifetime. Our 3 is No Joke Folks. John Renard will drive and train this 3-year-old by Well Said. Has 19 lifetime starts, most of them, of course, taken this year, 11 on the year with 1 win, which came back, must have been some time ago because we do not see it on our lines. But most importantly, just 2 starts back at Scioto, was in a BSS leg and really got the trip, I want to say, to be the least. Most of the mile was in the 7 hole, or stayed 7th along the rail, looks like, and ended up 2nd. So big final quarter in 28-4 for this gelding. Ended up going in 1:51.3.
The 4, Colton's Charm.
That's the one sorry, continue.
Sorry. Are we on 4?
We're on the 4.
Sorry, I
had to see how long we've been sitting here.
I had a rookie at work texting me because he had a question. So, Colton's Charm, Christian Myers in the bike for Gerald Lee. Nob Hill High Gelding's got 17 starts, a win, 4 seconds, 3/3, a little over $18,000.
Buttermaker Dylan Fagan will drive for Brett Schwartz as a 3-year-old by Yankee Cruiser. 10 starts on the year with 1 win, 2 seconds, and 1 third-place finish.
And Bronx Drifter from the 2nd tier, David Young in the bike for Steve Carter. Peggy Carter, Sheila Hummel owns the Yankee Cruiser. 11 starts with 3 wins. Let's flip it up to Doug for the last time today.
They come. They're up and pacing on the inside. Lucky Lad right out for the lead. Between horses, no jokes, folks. Colton's Charm on the outside. Field of Pacers moving to the turn, heading on over to the opening 8th. Off stride, the leader is Lucky Lad as they head up the backside, up on the outside. Colton's Charm will grab the lead. No Joke Folks is 2nd. Racing 3rd is Buttermaker. Racing 4th, Lucky Lad. Going to the opening quarter. Bronx Drifter next, and Legend of a King trails the field. Straight alignment at the opening quarter. Kristen Myers, Colton Charms have the lead by a length. No Joke Folks is 2nd. 30 seconds for the opening panel. Round the turn to the 3/8 that go. The leader is a race around the turn. That is Colton Charm. The 2-hole trip to No Joke Folks. Buttermaker is next. Then it is Lucky Lad, Bronx Drifter, Legend of a King passing his stands first time. They come to the halfway point. Colton's Charm has the lead and has it by a length. No Joke Folks is next. Buttermaker 3rd. Lucky Lad 4th. The half in 1 minute and 3/5. They move into the turn. Racing on the outside is Bronx Drifter 5th. Legend of the King is the trailer. Down the backside they go with the lead. Colton's Charm by a length. He'll guide him to the 3/4. No Joke Folks is next. 3rd, Buttermaker moving to the outside. Here comes Lucky Lad and Brady Clemens now 4th and moving up. Bronx Drifter 5th. Legend of a King trails the field at the 3/4. 3/4, 1:30 and 3/5 into the far turn. Colton's Charm has that lead and has it by 2 on the outside 2nd. As they race around the turn, that is No Joke Folks. 3rd on the outside, Lucky Lad racing 4th on the inside. Buttermaker, they're off the turn. They're on their way home. Colton's Charm is almost there. No catching the winner. Colton's Charm, Kristen Myers. 2nd to 5, Buttermaker. 3rd to 3, No Joke Folks. 1:58.4.
Last quarter, 28-1 for the winner, Colton's Charm. These are 3-year-old pacing colts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Half the field made a break.
Yeah.
Wow. So Brady Clemens got the lead with Lucky Lad, and he run in the first turn. Ronnie Gillespie made a break behind the gate, and Bronx Drifter run. I don't know where he run at, but he did. So I don't know what the deal was.
So I guess I just jinxed them earlier, saying that, yeah, I mean, breaks do happen through any division, any age, but it's part of the game, But that was our third division. So that officially means that our race 3 would have been our very first division, and they went in 57 and won. So it's a touch faster for sure. But still, nice drive by Christian Myers. Colton's Charm gets it done. This will be the second lifetime win for this 3-year-old by Nob Hill High. And what a way to round out our night. There is another train.
Yep,
another train approaching. So if that doesn't save the Pike County Fair, I don't know what does.
Exactly.
And here in the winner's circle, coming back for our photo. So we are still waiting for that official rundown from Doug.
She is. But Colton's Charm gets to win. Buttermaker got up for second. Inside there.
The 11th, third division. 3-0 Colton, Gutting Pace. The 4, Colton's Charm. 3-0 Bay Gutless and Nob Hill High. Out of the rail, Artist Mare, Judy's Prime Time. Second of the season owned by Gerald R. Cole, Center, Pennsylvania. Gerald Lee Jr. trains. Kristen Myers drives the winner, Colton's Charm. The mile, 158.4. Blanket by First National Bank of Waverly. Here's the way they finished the 6. Number 1, Legend of a King. 6, the 2, Lucky Lad. 4, 3, No Joke Folks. 3, 4, Colton's Charm, the winner. The 5, Butter Maker. 2, number 6, Bronx Drifter. 5, 158.4. 30 seconds, 1 minute, 3/5, 1:30 3/5, 6, 4, 3, 1, 2, 5 on the bottom. Well, that wraps it up for Friday evening here at the Pike County Fair. We're right back here tomorrow, post time at noon, with 9 big races. Join us tomorrow, post time at noon.
All right, we're wrapping up here. We thank you for joining us. Once again, noon tomorrow here at the Pike County Fair. So for Ashley Daly, Tom, and I don't know your last name, behind the camera, good job today. I am Jeremy Moore. We're going to take the bridles off, head home. We'll see you next time.
This has been Ohio County Fair Racing. Ohio County Fair Racing has been presented by Midland Acres, thestable.ca, Dublin Valley Farms, Big D Tack and Vet Supply, and the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center. Ohio County Fair Racing is a presentation of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association.